So, Daredevil then, yeah. He's on his way back to the telly screens. It's not looking as good as it was, but we're going to have to put up with it.
Oh, even the action's gone down, hasn't it?
Yeah. Didn't they say they were bringing back the fella who did like the cool hallway fights as well?
Yeah, but even in the trailer, you could see like the very clear distance between each attack, which sort of bothered me when I saw it. It's like in that Echo show. That was horrible fighting. Oh my God.
I only watched the Daredevil bit.
Yeah, I just searched it up on YouTube.
I just watched the Daredevil and I was done.
He doesn't he kick her hip and then she goes to the ground and punches it angrily? It makes zero sense.
Some stupid thing. It's past its prime with friggin' MCU now, like.
And that's why, I don't
stick with the comics.
I don't go into it thinking the MCU's back and they had one good thing. Yeah. I just sort of just take everything for what it is now. I just separate it entirely.
Yeah, mate. You don't have to watch everything anymore.
And the problem is, with the MCU, because they've butchered everything, Daredevil can't even, fight some of his most iconic villains, in the comic books. And there's just so many.
Yeah. There is. There's a
Micah
lot.
Synn. Micah Synn.
It took you less than 2 minutes to bring up Micah Synn, Daredevil's most vicious opponent. He's
brilliant. Could you imagine your diet causing you to lose a fight?
It's his poor diet. Let Daredevil defeat him.
He comes
you gotta watch out.
Steals Foggy's girl, and then just has a shit diet. That's his.
You're telling me Micah Synn has a worse diet than the Kingpin?
Well, I'll have your thought. I'm all muscle, Mr. Murdock.
Yeah, but he's still got his weight.
I was fat shamed because of my weight.
By his own father.
Couldn't climb a ladder. That's Kingpin's greatest foe, is the ladder. It's not even Daredevil anymore. It's just can't climb a ladder.
Losing. He's back as well, isn't he? But he's looking thinner. Is it Vincent?
Yeah, because he's doing the suits, isn't he? He's not putting on the weight anymore, I don't think.
Is he wearing a fat suit now?
Yeah, I think it'd probably be too dangerous for him at this age. I think trying to fluctuate between that is just going to be dangerous.
Yeah, fair play to him, mate. Well, if Hugh Jackman
he's
get shredded again for Wolverine.
6,000 calories, he said.
Right.
When I do that.
So yeah, it's alright for some, innit?
People on Twitter all crying from it. But when I do that, I turn medically obese.
Yeah, but his is
he
all
trains he eats proteins on Macca's for the whole calories. Even wonder what Kingpin's diet is. It's just going through all that to maintain it. He'd have to maintain something.
Has it ever? I can't remember a panel. You see him in Ultimate Spider-Man, don't you? Eating at that restaurant, but he's not got an egregious amount of food in front of him.
Well, David Mack, I think it was him. He wrote just him always being big. Like when he was 12, he was big, and then as he grew up, he was big. And then there was lice in the school, so he shaved his head, and then it just looked better for his intimidation tactics. So he kept the bald head.
He had lice, and that's why he's bald.
I think the school or neighborhood had it, so he shaved it, so he wouldn't get it. And he's like, people get scared by it. It's like, yeah, people get scared by it because you look like you're special needs. Of course they're going to be scared.
They'll underestimate him, won't they?
Could you imagine a special needs 500-pound child coming up to you just to squeeze you?
Jesus.
I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Wait a minute.
I mean, should we start off with someone like Kingpin?
We may as well. He's the main one people know.
Yeah, get the bad one out of the way before we save the good ones for later.
I will say, even though he's the most well-known Daredevil villain now, he was not the original main enemy of Daredevil.
No,
Because
he
that
wasn't.
mate goes to the masked marauder.
It's Marauder.
The masked marauder, whose power is to make you blind. And he's fighting Daredevil.
He's like, oh yeah, this doesn't work on me.
How? He knew
Even
as well. He knew there was a connection between Daredevil and Foggy. And he knew his blinding power didn't work on Daredevil. And he never once thought maybe it's his blind partner who's
he was
already...
in a lot, though, in the Silver Age. He did a lot of Daredevil.
He fought Spider-Man a few times as well.
Yeah, they teamed up, I think, didn't they? It was around that time, I think.
It's a genuine good one, that, as well. It's while Carrion's messing around. The stupid Jackal clone who's like a skeleton.
Oh, yeah. Carrion, yeah. But even just, like, in the Silver Age, there was so many weird villains. Even before. Because, like, Kingpin was just focused on Spidey at the time.
Yeah, it was actually quite deep into Daredevil before he fought Kingpin, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like the 150s or something.
Yeah, 150s or 160s around that time. And even then, like, yeah, they didn't meet at first, I don't think. It was a couple issues later, I'm pretty sure.
He was just investigating him, wasn't he? I remember that,
yeah. Because Spider-Man probably kept kicking his ass each time they fought. Like that time he was drowned or something. And it was with Kingpin and like falling off a high like point to drown. It's happened like twice, I think. When he was on the bridge, I think Daredevil, and he got shot by was it Lenny, the guy that he couldn't speak when he was nervous?
Yeah.
And then Daredevil was like, wait, you're speaking normal now. He's like, yeah, I'm not nervous. After Kingpin got shot.
Hey, he learned something from the encounter. Daredevil was busy with people like the Emissaries of Evil. He was so desperate. They were so desperate to make Daredevil like Spider-Man 2 when they...
Oh yeah, especially in the early days when he was always like so bubbly. He's always bubbly.
Mate. And he's like, he's got radiation powers, he's got extra senses, and he's fighting just dick after dick.
Even when he lost his mind, like later on, I think was it J.M. DeMatteis running? He might have been running it, and then he had that like split personality thing with all these altered Daredevils, and then like, the yellow Daredevil was like this, like and then when they went to like the Silver Age, he was like this bubbly Spider-Man type character because he was so much happier back then. It only became this depressed mess he is now.
It literally says on issue 1 of Daredevil, doesn't it? Like, you all loved Spider-Man. Well, there's another one for you.
It's just crazy. Yeah. Could you have, like, it didn't last, obviously, because his books were pretty bad.
Yeah, they do.
That's why. Weren't they wasn't it like they were picking between him and Iron Man or something to get cut off? Or it was something to do with Iron Man as well. And then they ended up just shoving Black Widow into his own series.
Yeah, it becomes Daredevil and Black Widow, doesn't it? Like the name of the book changes.
He moved to San Francisco.
Yeah, which I didn't mind a bit of variety, but...
Yeah, they ditched like everyone in New York. There's no more Foggy, no more Well, Karen, I think, was gone by then, wasn't she? She was already in LA.
Yeah, but then like Electro follows him because he fights Electro in San Fran as well.
I can't even remember that. I remember the start of it when Black Widow saves him in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
When he slaps her up.
Yeah. Oh, you chauvinist.
Yeah, you know it.
You're goddamn right I am. Matthew.
I like it. I like a man that's honest like that. Even in the Emissaries of Evil, wasn't Leapfrog in there?
Yeah, mate. And Matador.
The Matador, yeah.
The Matador. Oh, he's the worst. He's my like bottom pick.
I love the cover though of his first appearance when he's like got Daredevil on his knees in pain, like holding his head, and he's just like got his like little fabric just tossing it around.
Yeah, it's blowing his mind, did he, with his like what you call it, like his bull cape or something.
the vibration's too much in the air for his ears. He can't handle it.
He will literally just watching telly and going, that might be a funny villain.
Daredevil just couldn't believe on the cover that by issue 5 his series was already down the toilet. He's just so sad of it. Yeah, but then they had like the Goat Stiltman and Gladiator though, right? Within the
Yeah, mate,
Emissaries of Evil.
Stillman's got like a shrink ray.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the first time. Didn't he like, wasn't
He
someone
gets
trying to steal his plans or something?
yeah,
And he
and he
was trying
gets
to hide it?
blasted by his own shrink ray and like goes into the microverse or something. And Daredevil's like, well, I guess he's dead.
Didn't Turk get the equipment once? I
Yeah,
could have remembered like Turk, such an idiot.
bloody Turk, man.
And I could have sworn like he just tripped over himself or something like that. I remember Daredevil just like looking at him on the ground, so disappointed.
Yeah, that is Turk, that though, mate.
I loved like the common theme of him in the bar where he's just talking like absolute shit about Daredevil, and then Daredevil's always like
Behind him.
right behind him.
Sick.
There was even a
Yeah,
time
man.
where like the artist got him wrong, like Turk, his appearance. Like he went from like clearly African American to then I think like just white. I think for one issue he was white, and then the another one he had like a completely like he was grey almost. Like they changed it completely.
Christ. Last time I saw Turk was like Marvel fanfare or something when Iron Man was asking him about Dr. Octopus and he was black then.
Yeah, he's meant to be.
Yeah, he's meant to. He is.
Even
But they made him white in one.
well, I remember like yeah, I think it was just like they were lazy because I remember they were pretty lazy at a certain point in Daredevil books. Like there's one issue where for the entire book, I think Jameson was inked black. It's like the most obvious character in the Daily Bugle not to mess up. It was so sad.
The most iconic version. The most iconic character in the Goon.
First appearance. It's like when Batman had that rainbow suit. It's like Jameson's picking who he wants to be today.
The tale of
last
the
time I
zebra
saw
Batman.
Turk, the zebra Batman. I remember Brave and the Bold, the show when he had it.
Oh, did he?
Even I saw Turk last in Spectacular Spider-Man, and that was just I hate that series.
Yeah, it was crap.
He had the fantasy of punching Daredevil and knocking him out with one hit.
I'm on
Humberto
Turk's
Ramos came
Wikipedia
in
here.
to do that.
Oh, Christ. He can stay away, please.
He draws the sharpest rib cages. Just they always look like they're sticking out.
Oh, yeah. I'm no artist, but I feel like I could do better than him sometimes. You know.
If people give like Greg Land shit, but I would unironically want Greg
take
Land.
this tracing over porn rather than.
I'd rather, yeah, than Humberto Ramos. And even like his
Says
fan
here-
base just, yeah.
I was just gonna say, it says here that apparently Turk got an Infinity Stone recently in 2018.
He's the real baddie of Daredevil Turk.
He's got the Mind Gem.
He's
Why the
gonna
hell did he have
mind his
that?
way through. Mind his way through to kill Daredevil.
What was his mate's name who stabs him in Born Again dressed as Father Christmas?
Oh, I can't remember his name, but I remember like he always wanted to like not do the crime, and then Turk
Yeah.
just kept dragging
Like,
him
oh, you
along.
didn't have to do that. Grotto.
Yeah, Grotto. It's crazy. Like Daredevil has so many weird. Like you can count him as a foe, I guess, but there's just so many weird ones that make no sense. Nor were they really that good.
Yeah, for every
Like, I've got
bullseye, there's a Micah Synn.
One step forward, Micah Synn steps back.
Remember the Annie-Men?
Yeah, the anime, like, was it issue 10 or
What?
something? 12?
Yeah, what the hell were they?
Around that. They were like his like first mob encounter, weren't they? Besides like
Yeah.
the enforcers.
Oh, the enforcers were prevalent in the early days, and I do not know
They
why.
really tried to make them stick.
Yeah, mate, Ox was everywhere. Ox teamed up with Mr. Fear in Daredevil 2, didn't he?
When did Ox? Didn't he swap bodies with someone? And then
He did. It was so stupid. Yeah, the
the
scientist
guy
who
was
was
dying.
like dying.
That's why yeah. And then he had like the strength of Ox. So and then he died, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like,
Ox's
through
body
some-
died, leaving him
Yeah.
in a thing, leaving him trapped in the scientist.
That was
But then he
later,
come
though,
back.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back
He
eventually.
came back somehow.
Even like
So stupid.
the death head in Karen's dad.
Karen's dad, who randomly, like, even if he wasn't Daredevil, he still would have had to, like, encounter the death's head, wouldn't he? It had nothing to do with Daredevil.
Yeah,
He just went
wasn't
to
it because
Karen's
like
house.
Karen left?
Yeah, he tracked her down.
Karen left at the time, and then he caught the train over there, and then death's head.
He was
And then
just
he died by
already
the end
dead.
of it too. Even that whole story was just so bad.
Yeah. As I say, what were they thinking with half of this?
Yeah, the Silver Age was rough. That was rough. Because even like this was more later on, but Bullet, I didn't mind him at the start, but
The
then his son was so weird because he got really paranoid of like nuclear fallout. If you remember
Yeah,
that time.
yeah.
So then, like each time he'd visit his son because he'd obviously be out doing crime, the house got more and more boarded up with like just rations and floorboards on the windows and shit like that. And then he even had a girl over one time, and he told like the girl to piss off or something.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Well, when the nuclear fallout happens, I'll be the one laughing."
I'll be alive, you'll be friggin' dead.
Yeah, but I always thought they were gonna like follow up on the fact that I think nuclear waste got on his son, but I can't remember if they ever did that.
Well, they make him another Hulk.
Bullet and and his nuclear Hulk. Because I remember like it's the toxic waste issue. I think I got it on my wall. I have it signed by Ramita Jr. I think.
Nice.
I'm just trying to see what issue it is. I think it's around the end of Senti time. But he like came back from this like part full of nuclear waste and shit like that. And when he got back home, I'm pretty sure his son like jumped in his arms, and then he got it all over him or something. Because it wasn't that nuclear waste thing where they had to try and sue the plant, and like there was going to be like this rebellion from the workers and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because of the deaths or something. They
So
thought that like
stupid.
they tried to frame them for like murder. What were they thinking?
Heck if I know, mate. There's
If
always
it's
like
not
some
for
dodgy
Kingpin,
case going on, isn't there? Like,
yeah, there
he's
really
representing the Molten Man or something.
And Mr. Fear hijacked it all.
Mr. Yeah.
He gave that guy a chance and he betrayed him.
Oh, ratty, mate.
It was like that story was pretty random though, because it just ran like just all of a sudden his life turned to shit pretty much. It's like Mr. Fear's back.
Yeah. Because he probably took him down, didn't he? The third Mr. Fear.
He pretty much got almost as close as Kingpin did. I feel like he almost got that close to ruining his life. It was just lucky that Daredevil stopped the case, or he won the case.
Yeah. Is that from when he was like, there's like a prison break that Daredevil sorts out, but one of the guards goes loopy because he's been fear gassed.
And then doesn't he get framed for like abusing police officers or something? Or like the police are after him, and then everyone hates him. Karen's on trial for murder. That's when they worked for Sharp. Was it Rosalind Sharp?
Yeah, Foggy's mum.
She's such an asshole, especially when Kingpin hires her.
Yeah.
And then they just break Foggy's case down because there was no witnesses, or the witness didn't come forth. He was too busy shooting Kingpin in the next 10 minutes. But like, thank God for Kingpin and Bullseye, because they without them,
don't they? Like,
without them,
it would be rough without them. There is a few odd, like, little cool ones I like, but like Gladiator, Mr. Fear, and I do actually, jokes aside, I do enjoy the Masked Marauder just because I think he's goofy as hell, and I love that.
Well, I think even for his time, he was pretty good. He was one of the better ones resulting from that era.
But then you get the Dark Messiah. You get the Man.
The Man.
The Eel.
Yeah, the Eel when he thought it was like the Eel was with the Mr. Hyde trial, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Mr. Hyde, they thought he killed the girl, and he was certain that he did. And then he realized that, hang on a second, Mr. Ill did it, and then he was with the enforcers.
Yeah.
And
Because
then
again, he was the other one in Mr. Fear's, what was it called? It's called something like the Fellowship of Fear. And it was Fear, the Eel, and Ox from the Enforcers. What a squad to turn up with your army.
The Eel alone would send shivers down one spine. Spider-Man, thanks
Is he meant
God.
to be like Cobra? Like he sneaks, he's like slippery or what?
Well,
Cobra's thing's sneaking in, and
the Eel and Cobra were around the same time, I think.
Yeah.
Cobra first appeared in Journey to Mystery with Thor.
Oh yeah, it was a Thor. How's he gonna fight Thor?
The Eel
agile.
I remember like him just slithering around all over the place. But then even the Eel was, I could be wrong, but I think it was Strange Tales with the Human Torch. I'm pretty sure that was his first appearance. I can't remember what issue exactly, but I vaguely remember that.
Strange Tales 112.
Yeah. I don't think he even had electric powers at the time. I can't remember. I think he was just
the
slippery.
Electric Eel. He was just the Eel.
He saved that upgrade for the 90s. It took him 30 years. 3 decades for him to live up to his name.
Oh, he's got a sick name as well. Leopold Strike. That's class. Why they wasted the cool names on the friggin' eel?
It's up there with Micah Synn.
Jesus, he stole a nuclear device when he battled the Human Torch. Imagine America getting destroyed because of the eel.
The eel in the Fantastic Four who stopped like the Skrulls and soon to stop Galactus gets foiled by the eel.
Oh my god. He had a team.
Villains.
Plant Man, the Porcupine, the Scarecrow, and the Unicorn. Electro the Fairy. The Unicorn. He's sick.
Even Porcupine, I'm pretty sure that was another Strange Tales masterclass from Stan Lee.
What was he smoking, mate?
There's gonna be a time where like writing every issue was probably getting a toll on him. And he's like, "What sort of what animal can I use next?" He just looks outside
goes to the zoo, and he's like just staring at like the termites or like the ants, and he's thinking, "How can I make this?"
Goes get his
Scorpion.
head
We've done that one.
Gets his head transplant, comes back. The unicorn.
Of course, the unicorn.
How could I have been so
Iron
foolish?
Man. Titanium Man. Stan, you've done it again.
You dandish fiend, how did you... What's the secret formula, Stan? Spill it. So
goes at Aldi to Spain, sees a bullfighter, and he's like, oh,
Man bull?
The Matador. Oh, mate, two for one. Marvel 2 in 1 right there.
I can't wait for when they just start looking at random shit that makes no sense for their villains. Like they've already sort of done it though with like that when they're gonna do that with that like new X-Men thing when they had, was it Screen Time or something?
Oh Safe my Space? God, yeah, what was his name? Safe Space. What were they? There was 2 of them, weren't there? They were twins. One was Safe Space and one there's the fellow with the internet gas. I only remember B negative, the like goth gay vampire.
Soon they're gonna look at like PlayStation Controller Man or something like that.
The T-shirt.
T-shirt. He can change whatever shirt you're wearing to something horrible.
How will Spidey defeat the sinister light switch?
He can turn every light off in New York.
But they're all clap-ons. So he just runs in and claps. Nefarious. Dr. iPad strikes again.
He turns off all TikTok for 12-year-olds, parents in an uproar.
Oh.
It's like that Spider-Man 2 side mission, my balloon, but instead it's my iPad.
My iPad, yeah.
You gotta go turn it on for the child. I hate that. You know what I love to do with that? I loved webbing the balloon so it'd pop in front of their face.
Yeah.
Or just like you get the balloon, but then just don't give it to them.
Yeah, that's mate. Saving like purse snatchers, getting the purse back, and then just leaving with the purse.
Not giving them the purse back.
Yeah, swinging through the city with a handbag.
That's something like the eel would do when he's lowest, probably.
Yeah, robbing from other criminals, but it's just petty like wallets.
Didn't they like even auction off some of the things like around that time the eel came back? I couldn't remember if there was like a gladiator auction where they sold his costume. It could have been Gladiator or it could have been someone else. I can't remember exactly.
They're always
it might have been
that,
Stiltman.
like,
it might have been Stiltman.
Probably was Stiltman. The Tinkerer does that all the time, doesn't he? Like he was when Eddie Brock was selling Venom, he was like running the show. Hobgoblin seems to do it a lot nowadays.
Who would have thought when Tinkerer first appeared what he would turn into?
He was an alien, wasn't he?
He went from aliens.
One of his goons was Quentin Beck.
Yeah, with that horrible bob cut too.
That's
the only thing.
Or something, mate.
The only thing I liked about like Jake Gyllenhaal was he didn't have the bob. I can't stand the bob haircut.
Yeah, it does.
That, like the bowl cut was shocking.
Yeah, that's why he's got the fishbowl in, just to hide it.
I bet that was like the only positive thing about his cancer was he just didn't have the hair anymore. That's so cooked, man.
Hey, that's relevant actually, isn't it? Mysterio, I would count as a Daredevil villain.
Yeah, Kevin Smith really just turned him from a joke.
At the end, didn't he?
Yeah, but I even liked how like when they showed the backstory of what he was doing, everyone just knew he was a joke. But then no one will like probably truly understand how much his last great act was the opposite of a joke. It was was incredible.
Deadly serious.
Like for a super like that is as good as it almost gets because he was that close to breaking Daredevil.
Yeah. And he didn't
I love
kill
that
his
how
bed.
he was just like because he hired Bullseye, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the mastermind behind it, like.
And Bullseye was more just he's psycho. He just does what he wants.
Yeah, this is pet blooming loony.
It's just like it reminds me now of that time where like MJ jumped in the way of the tendril and Marvel Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Except
and he can
Karen
lift like
had
a train off him, but he can't lift the fridge off him.
The man who was a support beam for the Daily Bugle stopped by a fucking fridge.
That was.
I can show you like he lifted a tank and now he can't lift a train off to crawl under.
I distinctly remember him one time lifting up like a train cart and throwing it at the Scorpion. And now you're telling me he can't lift a fridge.
The Scorpion always cops it. He's has a train thrown at him, jaw cleanly broken.
Oh, that was bull as well.
But even with Mysterio, like when he goes to the Kingpin, and I'm pretty sure even Kingpin just talks shit right to his face. Like, yeah, you don't have the balls for this. Like, who do you think you are? Even like when he read the paper about it all, didn't he say something like something about when he robbed the diner or something? He's like, not bad.
Yeah. Have they ever teamed up in the comics, Kingpin and Mysterio? You don't really like. I don't think he's ever hired him in the books. I'm just thinking in the 90s show he was in as Insidious 6, wasn't he?
It was Sinister too bad for them.
It was, but then X-Men set in the same universe had Mr. Sinister. What's that about?
Mr. Insidious?
Mr. Insidious.
Yeah, but even the X-Men show was like had better action though, because they had actual fighting.
Yeah, well, we couldn't have Spidey stepping on pigeons, could we?
No, he had to throw a punch. It had to be through a portal through the spot to get it in.
The one punch he chucks.
It was through the spot. That's a privilege, and I can't believe the spot has the privilege of that. Because like, I don't think Kingpin teamed up with Mysterio. Because if I'm judging by what Kevin Smith said, how he wrote Kingpin, he just sort of took him as a joke.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like teamed up in this. I just mean in general. Because like in this, I say Kingpin's like, I'll fund you, but don't put my name on it.
I feel like he would have brought it up if they did. Just with him talking shit to his face, like, you're a complete joke. Like, this happened last time. But he was just more or less just bragging about how he's better than him.
Yeah.
He paid him like $1 million, I think, as well. Because Mysterio killed that one, the movie producer, was it? Or the director?
It's been ages since I read Guardian Devil.
I'm pretty sure he killed him and then took his identity, so then he would now have his wealth. Which is the old guy. Yeah, the old guy that like came to Daredevil in the first place was Mysterio in secret, I'm pretty sure.
Is he like delivered the pregnant gal to him or something? The Immaculate Conception?
I think he was the one that like birthed the idea that the baby was evil. Remember when he's hallucinating and he just has that huge rant about how much he hates women, and he breaks Natasha's leg or so, her ankle, I think.
Mysterio?
No, because Daredevil, through the illusions of Mysterio,
he goes a bit loopy, don't he?
Yeah, because he used that thing that somehow affected his bloodstream, I think. He needed like Doctor Strange to get it out of him. And then like when Black Widow has the baby, in his head he's going on this full-on rant about how much he despises like every woman in his life. And then just breaks her ankle. She's on the ground like in pain. He throws the baby off the roof, I think, and then catches it all. No, he's like...
Carnage got a load of shit when he did that, but Daredevil can do it.
I think he jumped off with the baby. I think he jumped off with
Jesus! There's something like... the whiplash.
He was going through some shit. He was going through it. Even Karen wanted the baby dead.
Yeah. But she's a sicko anyway, isn't she?
Yeah. Mysterio's got to be like one of the goats for this, just in alone. Made so many people hate this baby that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Even when he did
convinced Daredevil this baby was the Antichrist is enough.
And he had such a well thought out plan that was that convoluted that it like not only did it work, but he even like bypassed all of his senses for the most part of the story. Yeah. Like even with the who was that guy that was like, I'm your guardian angel? But he wasn't the guardian angel, he was just an actor in a suit.
Oh, as I say, it's been ages, I'm trying to...
He was one of the henchmen for Mysterio. And he designed the costume like that well, where I'm pretty sure he couldn't even like really detect his heartbeat properly. Well, he was like, there was something about the suit that threw him off completely. So like Mysterio, in terms of Daredevil villains, for his like one proper fight, he thought this shit out.
Yeah, mate, he come in, he got it done, and he left.
Even when he just started monologuing about his cancer, and Daredevil couldn't do anything or else he'd kill the baby.
Yeah. Didn't someone once trick Daredevil because he had a pacemaker? It was like a mob boss.
Yeah, because he couldn't hear. And he defended him, I think. And then he realized,
he he was so sure. And he goes, by the way, I've got a pacemaker. He goes, oh, no.
I have a panel saved on my phone. I took a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
It was the mother of a villain trying to get revenge, I think. And there was like these bunch of animatronic little girl dolls following Matt around. And like they knew like it would follow him no matter what if he was Daredevil and Matt. And they were like secretly
I remember
explosive.
this. Yeah, I remember seeing the creepy friggin' blow up doll.
There's an elevator. There's an elevator door, and he opens it, and the doll is following him. And with his walking cane, he whacks it on its back, and it falls down the shaft and explodes. And then this old lady sees him, and he's like, "Didn't you just whack that child down the elevator shaft?" And he's like, "I'm blind. I don't know what you mean." And he got away with it.
That. I do remember that.
Oh, it was in a lobby, I think. He got away with it.
He just walks off, tapping his cane, happy as life.
And he almost died as well. Didn't the mansion explode when he later confronted the
it's like booby traps to shut behind him or something. I remember him sitting on the roof at the end, like, what the hell just happened?
I just can't remember what villain's mother that was.
I'm gonna Google.
Was it the Deathstalker? It could have been the Deathstalker.
It could be Daredevil doll mother. Let's
What a
come up with
search
this
that
one.
is. It might have been the Death Star. I could be way off, but I think it was around that time.
I think it might have been,
What were they
it was
thinking?
some stupid one-off. Philip Sterling. Let's have a look.
Instead of Daredevil Man Without Fear, it would just be Daredevil What Were They Thinking? Because half of these stories are just like, if it doesn't have Kingpin or like Bullseye, it's just what were they thinking?
Mate, it absolutely was Deathstalker. Good remembering.
That's way
Seeking
back
to
in the
avenge her
archive.
son's death, Elizabeth used her fortune. Death traps enormous mansion. Identical robots. Yeah, it was
I
Deathstalker's
just
mum.
love his face is so happy when he does it. He's like he got away with that shit and he loves it.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop Daredevil when he set out to kill a child.
Yeah, this isn't even the first time yet.
Even I'm just trying to find that panel on my phone.
Yeah.
I came across another page with Kingpin. If it was when he was sitting in his office, I think this was around the Born Again story. I think maybe could have been, and because it might have been Typhoid Mary. I can't remember exactly because I remember
Ooh.
Kingpin was like trying to forget Vanessa, and then when Daredevil leaves the office, I'm pretty sure he leaves like the photo of Vanessa facing where you'd see it when you sit down, and then Kingpin sees it and he just sort of like sits in his like chair, so saddened by it, and he just whispers to himself, "I'm sorry," and it's just like one of the best pages I've ever read.
How did Daredevil know it was a picture of Vanessa?
Did he take his glove off to feel the photo? It's just crazy though. Like the actual stories with Kingpin are so good.
Yeah. When they
There's like
treat
the
him.
hatred for them. Yeah, they despise each other. I love the parallel between Born Again and Last Rites. Just the fall of Matt and the fall of Wilson.
Yeah. Remember when
That was
Vanessa got kidnapped by rat people or something?
Oh, what was the guy? Was it the oh god. Oh, I
You
need
think
to
she's
find his
dead, that
name.
she's underground, isn't she, with
Yeah, and
amnesia?
he becomes the queen. She
Yeah.
becomes the queen for the guy. Oh my god. And then he has like a giant alligator, doesn't he? And
Yeah,
then
he's got
Ben
some.
Urich is there.
Oh, God.
Was it the King? I need to find. Is it Sewer King?
I've got a
Let's
list up
see.
here. Let me glance
I
to the
think
S's.
his name might just be King. I think it is.
There's S. There we go. Shock
He was
Submarine.
weird.
He's not on there.
I hated reading him because it was so disturbing.
Yeah.
Especially because it looks like he's got Mpox everywhere. And he's just like, and he's just with Vanessa down. It's just I hate that panel of him sitting in his throne so confidently and Vanessa by his side. It's just disturbing.
Yeah.
That poor woman.
And
Like,
through
how did Karen get AIDS but not Vanessa?
Yeah,
You
you're
think she'd have
telling
caught
me
something?
Kingpin as well is clean down there, mate. After that prison scene.
The true origin of the Kingpin.
Is it Punisher Max?
Yeah, Punisher Max's wild journey.
Christ. Punisher, he
fact...
counts as a Daredevil villain, really, did he?
Well, I guess you could because they always just conflict when they always have conflict when they meet. I don't think they've ever had a nice, happy meeting with each other.
Yeah.
It's always like one of them ends up shot. It's just it's like a staple within their meetings now. Although I love that one time when John Romita Jr. was the penciler, and there was that one guy on the rooftop, and Daredevil was trying to stop him, but I think Punisher was trying to kill him. And then the guy got up when the two of them were fighting, and he picked up the gun, and then Punisher and Daredevil looked at him, and he threw his billy club right at his face, knocked him out, and they just continued their fight. But in the panel, they show the guys. they show his point of view. So like you see him like pick up the gun from his like actual eyes, look up, and then everything just goes to black after he throws the club. It's so class. I love
That's
it.
boss.
There's moments of like brilliance, and then there's moments of just the very opposite. Like one villain that I've always thought was weird was just Typhoid Mary.
Oh yeah, she's
'Cause
too. She is a mutant, isn't she?
I've only read the Daredevil appearances.
I think she's a mutant, and it's very like it's Daredevil to me is best when it's just kind of ground level. You know what I mean? Like his powers aren't too extreme. He's not even got super strength. And then Typhoid Mary comes in who can mind control and light stuff on fire with a brain, and it's like
it's a bit out there. Very grounded, Typhoid Mary. If we thought the King was bad, I think Typhoid Mary would be a whole different breed.
He was a psycho, wasn't she?
I feel bad for like her normal self, because could you imagine like what she would have to go through?
Yeah, what she wakes up to when she realizes.
Especially when she was with Kingpin.
Yeah. Isn't she married to him currently?
I think so. I was so disturbed by that. I love when Daredevil, like his way of getting back at Kingpin, he just sleeps with her and then calls like the FBI.
Yeah.
So he like ditches her the morning after, and she wakes up to just all these police around her just to take her in for like psychiatric help.
Yeah.
Because even like the whole like because he obviously cheated on Karen with Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, but was that Typhoid messing with him?
Yeah, like that's the point. Like, yes, Karen should be pissed, but he was mind controlled. That was the whole plan. Yeah, it was worse when it was like Natasha kissed him later on, and he never told her.
Yeah,
because like
then
that was more his
a bit
own
guilty.
thing. Yeah, this was Typhoid Mary playing mind games with him. Like that's her whole thing, is that she can make people attracted to her.
This was like date rape, wasn't it? Yeah. And Karen's pissed off at Matt.
Surprise! Dan Slott didn't write that one. Has his grubby fingers all over that one.
If Typhoid Mary was a dwarf,
then he'd love it.
Dan's interested.
I'll tell you who is the best villain for the Daredevil fan base. Mike Murdock. You knew it was coming. It's coming.
Yeah, mate. Get him.
Mike Murdock, the greatest. He wasn't even a photo Daredevil, it was just the writer. Because he's like, oh, everyone hates Mike Murdock.
It was so stupid. It was like what they eventually did with Moon Knight. Just stupidly thought out.
I love Gene Colan's pencils, though.
Twin. You love it.
It's just the way he was so animate on one page. Like, he looked so bubbly from the single drawing. It was crazy. But even, I think I got... I found their first, I think, appearance of Mike, where, like, Foggy says, wait a minute. And then Karen's like, that isn't Matt Murdock. And he goes in there, sitting with his, like Bully Maguire when he goes on Jameson's desk.
Yeah, goes feet up.
You can say that again, doll. Oh, Matt's the one with the brains, but I'm the family pussycat. The name's Mike, gang. And try not to applaud. I'm almost as shy as I am glamorous.
And Foggy, who's known Matt for like 20 years at this point. It's like, oh, you never mentioned a brother, but sure.
Groovy, gang.
Groovy.
If Foggy brought some dough, we can have a ball. Poor Foggy. Because that's when they were battling Karen as well, weren't they? Like the Silver Age? Didn't they have like that little like love triangle thing?
Yeah, they were both after it.
Yeah, but Karen was a prick. I would almost count Karen as a villain in the Silver Age. She was annoying. The way that she was like, I think in issue 9 or 10, she's like, Matt, there's a surgery that can get your eyes fixed. And then by the end of it, obviously, I think it might have been fake.
Yeah, it was like a plot by the owl or something. No. it was real because there's a what if where he goes through with it.
Real? Oh, I think at the end. Oh, he had to save the guy, didn't he? I think he had to save the guy that would actually be able to do it. because he had to fly the plane or something. And then when he came back in the airport, she called him like a coward.
A coward because you don't want your eyesight. These poor disabled blind Matt. She hates him, mate. There's when she spills his identity for a hit.
Comes crawling back, takes her, then leaves him after he gets her off a murder trial.
She's accused for murder, and Matt gets her off it, and then she
comes back when she has AIDS. She's honest.
He only crawls back to him when she wants something, mate.
Natasha
was right
there
the true
time.
love of Matt's life, Heather Glenn.
She too spilt the identity when she was drunk.
She did. And then she killed herself.
Matt? Yeah, he walked in. He's like, "Oh no, oh no."
Uh-oh.
That was even like partially Foggy's fault. Because if you remember, it could have been Foggy and the girl in the wheelchair. I think I can't remember who else was with Foggy at the time. But they're like, okay, this relationship's pretty unhealthy. And they were going to get married, and I'm pretty sure Heather was going to accept because her life went to shit. Her dad went to jail. Died. And then the people in the company were trying to force her out like Norman Osborn. And
big no.
She's like, I remember like her saying like, Matt, you've taken everything else. Like you might as well take my surname or something like that. Or like take me in marriage. But then Foggy wrote a note for like to Heather saying like from Matt, like you pretending it was Matt saying like we can't be together, and then he wrote one to Matt as Heather saying we couldn't be together. So they both
just opened it, never meet again.
Yeah, they were just so depressed, both of them, and then Foggy comes in just eating as usual, like how you doing, Mattio? It's like you basically caused the suicide.
Oh, he doesn't care, Foggy, mate.
He's too busy cheating on Liz.
Yeah. Liz Allen fresh after her husband's death. Because the whole reason they know each other is because he's like handling Harry's estate. Harry's just died in Spectacular 200. And then he's straight away flirting and trying it on.
With the setup of Mysterio, he does that lawyer, he does the divorce case. Yeah. And the girl in secret was just someone who wanted to get a hit. So, everyone's an addict in Daredevil. Everyone.
Yeah. It's gritty Spider-Man, isn't
it? Especially the 90s. The 90s upward was just when he lost his mind. Remember when he became a boxer? He became a boxer when he lost his memory from Bullseye, I think.
And everyone was like, wow, you're just like battling Jack Murdock.
And he's like, and his name was Jack?
Jack Murdock. That's me.
Wasn't his name Jack as well? Like,
he called himself Jack. He did.
And then he threw a fight? He threw the fight his dad. Just like his dad?
No way.
They tried to like assassinate him or kill him afterwards too. And luckily he had Daredevil powers because then he just got out of the way.
No one noticed he was blind. Don't they get like milky eyes or something?
Yeah. It changes from time to the artist. If the artist can be bothered or not. It's like with like certain design elements, you know, of characters where the artist just could not be bothered.
Yeah.
So they just leave
like
it out.
Black Jameson.
What was that? Did he just like get a spa, like a tanning treatment, like in that one SpongeBob episode? To get invited into that party?
Robbie walks in, he's a whoa.
The next Bugle headline: Jameson cancelled for blackface.
Black suit Jameson hero 1 minute.
Spider-Man's like in his chair. He's like, my, how the tables have turned. Even just like, I wanted to like talk about this one book that I read from Daredevil, one issue. It's funny because it was like such a like shift in tone from Black Jameson. But I remember it stuck out to me as just like this, like Frank Miller is seriously good at this like Daredevil stuff. It was right after I think Bullseye was paralyzed.
Yeah.
And then he's like in the hospital ward or something, and Daredevil has the gun.
Oh yeah.
And that issue, I love that issue so much just like not only was the artwork incredible, but the way Matt was freaking out, like you would have thought maybe he could pull the trigger. But
Yeah,
even just
you're like on the edge
how
of your
cruel he
seat for that
was.
one.
Yeah, like Bullseye's paralyzed and he's playing Russian roulette with him.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there in absolute fear of what's about to happen. But then that
I
also
remember,
introduced why he wanted to be a lawyer. Because his dad hit him, I think. That the reason? His dad hit him and he's like, if my hero can do that, then there needs to be laws in place.
Something cringe like that.
Yeah, just go on jumping on rooftops, Matt.
That was dad's abusing him. I thought Jack Murdock and Uncle Ben were meant to be like the two stars, like the two men you're meant to look up to.
I mean, I don't want to like give off an opinion that sounds like some of the previous things we've done on a podcast, but like I feel like if one father figure was to abuse their child, Jack could get away with it, just
Maybe
purely
if
because
he's drunk.
he's a severe alcoholic. So like
Yeah.
that's probably the only one that could get away with it. Could you imagine Uncle Ben just going up to Peter and just slapping him across the face?
Hit him with that Westcott boy again, haven't you?
Skip Westcott. You gotta do that on the next, like, forgetting Spider-Man foes. Just Skip Westcott.
Skip. Give him a full supervillain showcase of his own thing.
Jack hires Skip Westcott so he can study the books harder. Matt, there's this man, Skip Westcott. He's gonna be your tutor for the next year or so. You gotta make it. You gotta.
Stupid that Matt calls himself Daredevil because the
He's
local bullies called him Daredevil because he was blind.
I like the more like show route, like the route the show took, where it was more like he's obviously a guardian devil.
Yeah.
Then they just called him Daredevil in the papers. He's like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's all right.
But even didn't in that one issue where Nick Fury and the Punisher are there, I think Punisher almost kills Nick Fury's son. And then it's near like the park where he got bullied, and I think Daredevil just started like having flashbacks mid interaction with Fury. But he's like,
he's meant to be saving this kid's life. He's having PTSD from when he got bullied. Get over it, Matt.
When I rewatched Daredevil for the first time, like the Ben Affleck one, I couldn't believe how many Sopranos were in that movie. Like AJ was the bully. I love it so much. It's like that's the perfect casting. You couldn't get better than AJ to bully Matt Murdock. Imagine Tony Soprano. AJ, what I tell you about bullying that blind kid?
He's repping.
He can't even defend himself. If they see you're ableist, it's not going to be good for business. Could you imagine when they thought Matt Murdock was Daredevil, when everyone found out and he faked his death?
Yeah.
I feel like they just went off the Kingpin because he was just like fighting an ableist, like either fighting a blind man, like Kingpin.
Yeah. They cancel the Kingpin.
I love the that part where he's like desperately trying to escape during Last Rites with the files, I think, or like the thing that ties him to the murder, and he's like jumping through everywhere, and then Daredevil just doesn't let up, even throughout like all this busy, crowded area where his radar sense doesn't even work. He just couldn't get rid of him.
It's on his ass.
It's
doesn't he run past Peter and Mary Jane?
Yeah, and he's like, he's got this. He's got it, don't worry about it.
Yeah, Mary Jane's like, Peter, jump it, go and sort him out. And he's like, no.
Well,
Daredevil's got this.
He wouldn't want to do that with Shay now, would he?
Oh, God, no, mate.
That's where
he'd have been out of there, wouldn't he?
He would be, that's where the line crosses. It makes sense because Daredevil's there. But like now, Spider-Man would probably just say, "Nah, I can't be bothered. I'm on a date." Just let the Kingpin get away with murder.
Yeah. Watches him dump the evidence.
I'll tell you another classic story. I think it's called A Beer with the Devil, and that's when he's so depressed after Karen leaves him for the 5th time. And then he starts kissing Mephisto in a human form.
Mephisto's at the bar.
And they start making out. Well, I'm pretty sure someone's dying on the floor. And he's like, what happened? And he's like, you were busy necking on with that guy. He's like, guy? What?
Guy?
And then there's like, Mephisto just pops out like, you horny bastard, Mephisto.
It's weird how, like, speaking of Mephisto, Blackheart of all people debuts in Daredevil and not Ghost Rider.
His Spidey's there too.
Yeah. I've got that comic up here. Yeah, it's like some redhead woman. And then it cuts to the dude. Oh, there's Mephisto with his venom tongue.
You could make him more powerful the more you like acknowledged him or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember exactly, but then he was trying to prove Mephisto wrong. And then Mephisto's like, are you stupid? Like, are you serious? Like, dude, did you forget who I am? I've been telling you this entire time I'm your father. Like, I'm powerful. I'm more powerful than you. He's like, nah, mate, it'll be fine. Tries to take over. But who else would be a villain for Daredevil? You think that's worth mentioning?
Worth mention. The time the Jester faked his own death and blamed Daredevil. The Jester who uses like super yo-yos and shit to do crime.
And this is the 60s civilians as well, and 60s Marvel civilians are brain dead.
Yeah, because they all believe straight away.
I like that he's like Mysterio if he was serious, because Mysterio always wants to be like in the movies and shit like that, but Jester's like an actual performer.
Yeah,
he's
got like sword training and that.
Yeah, like his whole thing is he doesn't even do much shit. He just wants to put on a show.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Daredevil let him finish a show once because he wanted him to have that one moment of triumph?
Yeah, to like keep him cool while he arrested him or something.
Yeah, he'd be satisfied.
Yeah.
Because he knew that the Jester would live a satisfied sentence if he could pull this one play off.
Yeah, he doesn't mind going to prison for 20 years because he got to finish his lines.
That's how you know he's like the goat of all characters.
He's a showman, mate. He loves it.
Because didn't Daredevil dress up as Jester too? And he was like bouncing. It was just he was
That's
just
what
Mike
solves
Murdock
the crime.
again.
Yeah, he dresses up as Jester. Original Jester's so pissed off that he's stealing his thing that he spoils that he's still alive.
It's just like the 60s was such a weird time. Even the Owl later on, when he started to lose his senses and shit.
Oh yeah, he went blind as well, didn't he?
I remember he went really crazy. And then there was I feel like he was trying to get replaced by someone. I can't remember exactly, but I just remember his end was pretty depressing.
You need to decide with the Owl if he's actually got like powers or if he's a mutant or if he's just a man who looks like an owl, because one minute he's using like a flight suit like the Vulture, but then in Marvel Knights Spider-Man he's literally eating live rats as if he is part owl.
I remember. It's a part of his diet.
Yeah, so
Micah
it's a better diet than Micah Synn.
But even, I thought the show was so brave. The show was brave to have like Wesley Owl in the episodes.
Yeah, he was just there, but
yeah. But he was never once ever gonna actually wear a stupid owl costume. He was
never gonna fly, was he?
Just, could you imagine that in that serious show that couldn't even do the gladiator properly if they just randomly had the owl fly about?
Because one episode just opens with him robbing a bank and flying away.
I thought it was brave that they even put a Stiltman Easter egg in the gladiator's like workshop.
See his legs.
But it's like actually like comic accurate though. It looks perfect. I'm like, you went to the extreme to do that. You made that. But you can't put the gladiator in a costume?
They were never giving him his whirly wrist blades, were they?
He held them once, and they're like, "Look, guys, he's holding the wrist blade."
He throws a buzzsaw, doesn't he, at Daredevil?
Yeah.
And that's the reference. That's all you're getting.
They even missed like the main point of his character, like the fact that he most of the time he believes he's a gladiator, and they never once
he's not got any of that
expanded on it.
It was always that story from before Born Again. I think it's literally one issue before Born Again, where he robs that museum because he's getting forced into it. But he's dressed like a gladiator instead of his yellow armor.
And then Daredevil was like disappointed because didn't he think that he just returned to his life of crime?
Yeah, but it was all he was strong-armed by a different criminal.
The gladiator's like the Rhino or with the mental illness, I should say. The Rhino has less of a mental illness problem than the gladiator. Yeah. But like they both sort of reformed at a time before Zeb Wells ignored that shit. And they even like found someone to love.
Mate, Oksana getting rinsed by the new Rhino. He was fuming. There's a really good Spider-Man issue. I think it's Spectacular 77, where Peter, I say, fights the gladiator. He more like talks him down before he can do anything. It's Black Suit Spider-Man. I remember that being Boss, because it actually looks at Gladiator and says he's not all there mentally, but he can be reasonable.
Now you just got Spider-Man going, "I'm on a date, guys." Stop it, man.
Gladiator, can you chill? This is Crazy Town Banana Pants. Shut up.
Mike Murdock comes through. Call it Daddy-O. Gladiator. You're tearing up the joint here. I like when there's like
Judas Traveler robbing the bank. It's like, whoa, fellas.
Cool it on. Cool it Rooney. He just turns into like Fonzie from Happy Days.
That Peter's like, he doesn't care. He's doing crime. Is he not?
Even like seeing Screwball severely bothered me. I hate Screwball. I
hate the costume they put him in, especially. But yeah, after the PS4 game, I've seen enough Screwball for me.
Even just, was she a Dan Slott creation?
I think so. She was definitely Brand New Day. She actually teamed up with the Jester and got the shit eaten out of them both by Superior Spider-Man.
Thank God. I mean, I feel bad for Jester. He doesn't really deserve much. He's just put on a show, really. But the Screw Jester's probably just still reminiscing on that time he just actually performed.
Yeah.
You can see like visible parts of his brain, but he's just still smiling about that day.
Yeah, Daredevil let me finish me monologue.
Cheers, mate. You know the true villain of Daredevil? Ultron.
Ultron, mate. His most sinister foe.
Fell in love with number 9.
Number 9, who wears an American flag. She's like stereotypical bimbo.
Yeah, blonde, like this blonde American dream wife.
Made in a factory to be the American dream wife.
Remember when she was she escaped and she was just running around naked, and then didn't she get hit by a car or something? Or she caused a car accident?
I think so, yeah. She got done in by some.
And then
regenerative power, though, apparently. She's nearly indestructible.
Yeah, that's right. I remember her cutting herself or something like that. She got cut. And it just completely healed up. I just love
Number 9's Wikipedia just says, a physically altered cheerleader rescued by Daredevil. That's it. Doesn't mention Ultron.
Yeah, she pisses off afterwards and we never see her again. It's just never brought up. It just shows that Anna Senti she's not really a good writer, is she, when it comes to this shit?
Really follow up the shit.
Take away Typhoid Mary, she's got nothing as a writer. Her one piece of resistance and has Kingpin as a primary character involved. Take him out the way and with just Daredevil, she can't write for shit.
Nah, mate. It was the 90.
Even like I feel like that run, I felt bad that JR got stuck with it.
Yeah.
Because I would have rather, if Frank Miller wasn't doing the pencils, have his art in his prime connect to something a bit better than what he had to.
It was during around like Inferno, wasn't it, with the X-Men? Because I remember Typhoid Mary going a bit loopy while the demons were invading or whatever they were doing.
Even like I remember Spider-Man's issues during that, and it was just
mate,
the whole
with
of
the
New
Demo
York.
Goblin.
I love, unrelated, but the
God.
Marvel Legend figure of Demo Goblin is one of my
Oh.
favorites on my Spidey shelf.
Nice.
It's so
He
good.
looks sick. He's a threatening hobgoblin, isn't he?
Yeah, the glider's awesome because it's just they captured the flame guy like glider so well.
Nice.
It's like it's in a way it's translucent, but it's not to the point where you wouldn't like you can see through it. It's just thick enough.
Yeah.
And it looks like proper flames. And even just like the face sculpt was insane. I love it so much. It was a Build-A-Figure, I think. A part of one of the way
where you get like parts
in
different ones. So you got to buy like 7 to, just like in comics, you got to buy 7 for the full story.
I was lucky to get the Kingpin in a bundle. I got with like the likes of Beetle and Morbius and stuff like that.
Beetle.
It came with Kingpin in it, so now I got him on my desk with like Daredevil and the Punisher.
Yeah.
I even got the Marvel Unlimited yellow Daredevil exclusives on my wall.
Nice.
They got like some of the colors wrong. I think the Billy Clubs are wrong, and it really annoys me.
You're not got like little Warhammer paints to crack out.
I think they made it grey. They made it grey. I think I don't remember it being grey. I thought it was more of like a burgundy, like it matched his suit or something.
Okay, you'd think it would match.
But next month, like Mayfex, which is I love that brand, is making a Daredevil figure, and I can't wait to get it because it's like, I think it's based off the Frank Miller era, or maybe either Frank Miller or John Romita Jr.
Yeah,
but he's got like the classic white Billy Club, and like the extension has like a wire going through it, so you can actually pretend he's hooking onto something.
That's little dioramas, mate.
They don't even do dioramas anymore. They've gone lazy. Could you imagine a Kingpin set with the prison shower diorama?
If I had the money and had all these toys, mate, I'd be setting them up in like scenes from the books.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'd be recreating panels. Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'm gonna try to do the ASM, was it 41, where the rhino's running and Spidey's just like looking at his ass, trying to reach for his ass as he runs away.
Sick.
What about that time where like Spidey was poisoned, and then he got the help of Daredevil?
Yeah. The Vulture of all people poisoned Spider-Man.
He pretended he wasn't Matt Murdock, and Spidey's like, "Dude, I can clearly you're Matt Murdock."
You do look an awful lot like Matt Murdock.
Yeah, you talk like him, you sound like him. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. He's Matt Murdock. Even like Foggy would probably get so like sick of his shit by that point.
Yeah,
he's been through all of them. He's been through the Mike and was it Jack Batlin?
Yeah, Jack Batlin because it was battling Jack Murdock.
He really just didn't care.
Oh my god! It's like when Otto Octavius becomes Dr. Octopus, and like the names that they're born with clearly decides that they're gonna have this specific superpower later on. Be like if the Flash's name was like David Quick.
Or the eel was Slippery Shock. But I've got a bit of a question for you about Daredevil's Rogues Gallery, the good ones, the good ones.
Oh, all 3 of them.
Yeah, you got Kingpin, Bullseye, and then Mike Murdock. And Karen Page for good measure at this point.
Get Kingpin out of there and put my man Ultron at the top.
You could do like a photo with your figures of just like Kingpin and Ultron working together.
Imagine
Like,
swapping villains and you get stuck with Ultron. How's he meant to fight Ultron?
just get number 9 again so you can fall in love.
Number 9 will sort it out, mate.
With like, we'll go Kingpin and Bullseye.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite story from those two, or either one?
Right, so for Bullseye, I'm gonna cheat because I think it's issue 200 where Matt has had enough of Bullseye, and I think he drops him off a building or something. You know
Was
what I
that the
mean?
conclusion to Frank Miller's?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, then
But
that's when the roulette issue came after.
Yeah. But then in like 300, he's fighting Bullseye again, and he's got a chance to do it again. And Daredevil's like, no, it was a huge mistake trying to kill you. That's not who I am.
Was it with the train?
Yeah, he saves Bullseye.
And then
it's
Bullseye's
like,
like super pissed.
Yeah, because Daredevil spent like 100 issues being like, I genuinely tried to kill that man. And then he like redeems himself 100 issues later by deciding he doesn't want to be that kind of hero. Thought that was
And then,
like clever.
And then Bullseye's like, the fact that you saved my life really pisses
like, you'll
me off.
pay for this now.
Because he's gonna live with the fact that like technically he owes Daredevil a lot. He owes him his life. That's what I love, like, when they sort of do that plot. You know, when like the hero saves the villain, that they just when they both hate each other so much.
Yeah.
And now they hate each other every more. But now like the villain hates him like even more because he saved him. It's such a good thing.
Yeah, mate. Like in Spider-Man, when in Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man's like, should I kill Carnage? Or he's like, can I live with myself if I do this? He should have killed Carnage, yeah. But in this case of Matt and Bullseye, I just think it's really cool how he's like grown as a character and he's decided that was wrong of me. I need to make it right.
Yeah, because like Bullseye's obviously batshit crazy and he kills a lot. But Carnage is different breed. Like he's different.
And even like, just Matt holds himself to that standard because he's so like into his religion and that, isn't he?
Even you see it a lot with Mysterio when Karen died, he was going to kill whoever was behind everything.
Yeah.
And like,
but he rises above.
When it was coming out, though, you like as a reader, you'd probably guess he's gonna kill someone, but then he obviously stops himself. But even just with Carnage, if not for Carnage, then we wouldn't have the classic team-ups of Spider-Man and Venom during the 90s.
Yeah, fair play. They are pretty good. Like.
That's probably what Spider-Man's like. Well, he wouldn't have sung "Strangers to the Night" with me.
Yeah.
If not
Panel's boss for Spidey's like, am I really teaming up with this lunatic who's tried to kill me several times? Cut to Venom singing his ass off.
Strangers in the Night. Even just, I love that panel. He's like, put her there, partner. And they just shake hands. He's got the massive like smile on his face.
Yeah, mate. Spidey and Venom teaming up as boss. We need more of it. Even like the Life Foundation stuff.
Yeah, the 90s got it right, though. Like, whenever Mark Bagley was drawing it, you knew it was going to be good when it came to Venom. It was like, whenever I see him as the artist on an Eddie Brock story, I'm like, I can read this comfortably knowing that it's going to be decent. Like, at least decent.
That panel where Eddie, like, he sees on the news that Carnage is loose in New York, and he's like, right, we're going. Do you know what I mean? I think that's Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, because that's when their team up really began.
Yeah, that was
like when he threw the baby out the window, and they're like, "Oh god, the baby!" And then both launching after him.
Carnage is wild, man. He can kill you through the internet. How are you meant to stop him?
Oh, he'd have a joyride now, wouldn't he? Just put his finger through the laptop.
Goes out in Fortnite.
Who thought of that shit? Like, it makes zero sense for a symbiote to just go, I'm going to put my finger in your laptop.
Yeah, pop out the other end, mate. He does it in the movie as well, doesn't he? In Venom
remember
2.
that? Yeah, they don't have. They do Maximum Carnage without Captain America, Black Cat, and Spider-Man, but they
Without Spider-Man, it's a Spider-Man story.
they have him finger a computer instead. Good to know they got their priorities straight with Sony.
Christ, mate. Have you seen the Rhino in the new Craven trailer?
Yeah, I love how the only rhinos we've got live action, they're based off the Sony shit. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
TASM 2 is Andrew Garfield's world. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
they're based off Andrew Garfield's world, so TASM 2. But then now we've got the human rhino one, which is just basically the cross species from TASM 1, the video game.
Exactly the game, mate.
The only rhinos we have on live action are Andrew Garfield related.
Yeah.
How depressing.
We're never getting just a buff dude in a suit, are we?
I say in the video I was working on today, because I was talking about obviously like the rhino for his short brief moment in Spider-Man 2.
I love his design.
I was saying about the design, and I was saying how I usually prefer like the more classic basic look for Rhino.
Yeah, where it's just great.
Like, yeah, I was like, unironically, Lego Marvel Superheroes 1 still has the best Rhino design. Because it's literally just Rhino in a Rhino
just
suit.
Just grey dude, isn't it? Have you seen the fan theory that he's really the Kingpin?
Yeah, because he wants to brush up on his bestiality.
Yeah. There's someone's drawn a panel of Kingpin, like, Rhino takes off the horn and it's Kingpin. He's like, it was me all along, Spider-Man.
Like, could you, like, obviously no one was expecting that bathroom scene in the prison with Kingpin. Could you imagine if, like an Ace Ventura, when he's getting birthed from the elephant, Kingpin gets birthed from a rhino? As, like, his secret origin in, like, Kingpin Max or something like that.
Kingpin Max, mate. Kingpin like... grey suit and blood.
The possibilities are endless when you're drunk and writing a comic book.
I like the Rhino in Lethal Foes, where he's got like the bloomin' the spikes on his shoulders.
Did you like the Web of Shadows design, where it was just this massive, like, two massive shoulder pads and
I forgot he was in it. It was so weird in that. Like, you know, he actually says a word. Yeah, you ride him for a level, and then you go, hey Rhino, the door's that way, and he goes, thanks, Spider-Man, and runs off. Black suit choice over.
I mean, what about like the Ultimate Spider-Man one, where it was like the mech Rhino but better,
because it transformer actually... Rhino.
But like in the game, I love the game one, where even though it was still the mech, it worked.
The one from like PS4.
No, the PS2 one, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I think
because he still looked like a rhino. You know, he actually. I love the joke as well. Like, you were a rhinoceros, so you're just really excited to see.
Yeah. And then he just swats him away. Yeah. Well, mate, Rhino's sick, you know, like, he's not like a master planner type, but
just
most of the time he's fun. Yeah.
Can he just knock it off, though? I got a date. Like, what's wrong with this guy?
Imagine if Green Goblin's on the bridge, he's holding Gwen, and Peter just goes, listen,
knock it off.
We've got a date planned. Stop it.
He goes as Peter Parker too. He just crawls up the bridge. Listen here, Gobby. Knock it off.
Like Peter's brain's dying in Doc Ock's body. And Superior Spider-Man's looking down at him and just goes, Otto, please. I had a date.
Yeah, with Shay, the one that Anna set me up with.
I've not really been reading ASM except to laugh at it. But what is Shay from? Was she ever in it before? Has she been in more than 2 issues?
I think she's unique to ASM. Because Anna went to Ravencroft when she had the Cohen disease.
She was in Whirlwind, wasn't she?
She defended Whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
She said to Peter, not everyone had the same opportunities as you. She said that when talking about Whirlwind.
Isn't Whirlwind like a
you?
super genius as well? I'm sure he's designed his
And
own.
he's like a convicted cannibalist.
Yeah. She's like, be nice,
Tastes
Peter.
like chicken. But even just like she's saying this with a straight face to an orphan who lived with his aunt and uncle who were very poor. Uncle
Very
got
poor.
shots. It's like, not everyone's as privileged as you. It's like, shut the fuck.
You know what gave me whiplash? In the cartoon, she hates Peter.
Yeah. What was
And
that
yet
about?
in the book, she's always lovely to him. She wants him with Mary Jane. She lived with
hated
him
Aunt
for a
Anna?
time. Yeah, in the cartoon, mate, the 90s cartoon, I was always like, this bitch needs to do one. I'd have spider punched her jaw off if I were Peter by that minute.
When he was late to the wedding, didn't she like start talking shit or something?
Yeah. And when the Insidious 6 kidnapped Aunt May and she's in the hospital, but it's actually the chameleon. Like, she's like, that awful Peter's not here to see his aunt.
She's probably just like, I wonder how Jameson fits into this. Is Jameson related to Aunt Anna?
In that Daredevil episode, mate, where they're in the court, she's like, I'd always known he was a bad man.
Yeah, because didn't he get
Jesus.
framed or some shit?
Yeah, he gets framed by the rose.
The rose was butchered so badly, and my heart was broken as the one of 10 Rose fans that there is out there.
Richard Fisk, the tree.
He wasn't even Richard Fisk, though, was he, in the show?
He was his son, but he wasn't like, I don't think his name was Richard, actually. I had to rewatch it.
Didn't he have like a ponytail through his mask in the show?
I don't think he wore a mask in the show, did he? It was just like, it was just him.
Because I was rewatching the Venom saga and I saw someone with a purple mask and glasses on, I think.
Oh, like in a group shot? Like where you see the owl?
No, this was when he wanted to buy Prometheum, the rose.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I didn't know that was it. I know Richard Fisk is in it later.
Yeah, because he had like this heavy accent that's just clearly not the rose.
He teams up with Tombstone and tries to kill Robbie Robertson too, doesn't he? Like,
yeah, now
season 5.
Yeah, they just completely throw that out the window when Robbie's son tries to marry Janice.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like, did he forget the time when Tombstone broke his back?
The pitchfork stab and everything, mate. Just forgotten.
Did Tombstone fight Daredevil? I can't remember. I feel like he did once.
He definitely has. I think it was in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he try to be the boss?
Yeah, he was trying to take over.
There was wasn't I think I skim read this issue. I just could not care less. Was it Von Strucker? Who was the one behind it all?
I believe so, yeah.
And he kills his own son, I think. Yeah.
How's Daredevil been to fight bloody these spider villains, man? The Scorpion would kill him.
As soon as he arrived in Las Vegas, didn't he faint or some shit?
Well, like from the heat.
I can't remember. I think it was from something else, and then he blamed the heat. But he just, as soon as he got there, he collapsed, and then an ambulance rushed to get him.
Bloody hell.
What were they doing? The true Daredevil villains, the writers.
Defo, mate. Well, the true Spider-Man villains certainly are nowadays, aren't they? What do you think of more modern Daredevil villains? Like, what was his name? Ikari or something? He was like Yellow Daredevil.
I'm not up to that part yet. I'm up to mostly the Kevin Smiths. I just got past Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
And the Echo Saga. So I can't remember who Big Harry is. I have read the current stuff, like the current volume.
Yeah.
That the villain is pretty much Sins. The villain is Sins. Like, he's a priest now. And because of him coming back, I think it had something to do with this. But
Yeah.
basically, one of the deadly sins has inherited someone in his life, and he has to get it out of them. So like She-Hulk gets infected, Electro gets infected. The last issue had the Kingpin get infected. I can't remember.
Like he's got
I
to
can't remember.
exercise the sin.
No, it was like I think he might have had Matt's. It might be greed. It might be greed. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the sin added to his strength. And then the way to beat it, I think he had to like take a long, hard look at himself, and then like say a prayer and look at what went wrong in his life in relation to the sin, and then do like an exorcism for Kingpin or something to cleanse his body. It was weird. And then the Kingpin gets cleansed on the rooftop, and he just falls to his knees and starts praying to God after what just happened.
That's
it's weird.
Wild one. It sounds like what the hell? Last I saw, he was like in prison, or he was.
There's no continuity anymore. Let's be real.
Is Foggy still alive? He had cancer last time I checked.
Foggy's pissed because he found out that Daredevil came back to life, but he never like said hi. You know, he never came back. He was a priest, and he just sort of kept distance from his real life, and he's like, he just doesn't want anything to do with him. He has to try to talk to his like new partner. He got replaced by like this Terry Crews looking guy. And it's like now Foggy's just found a replacement for Matt, and he's just so pissed off at him.
Christ.
The whole Kingpin, praying to God page, on its own, I feel like it's a good page. Like it could work given the story if it was good enough, like such a heavy, impactful moment. But the story is just so average. It's just like you're wasting such a big moment here.
What would you say then is your favorite Daredevil story overall?
Overall?
Yeah. Out of all of them you've read, what would you say is the one when you think that's Daredevil?
It might be two basic options, but they're basic for a reason. Firstly, this might be recency bias, but I never take Kevin Smith seriously. Yet his first 8 issues on Daredevil, I loved reading. I thought they had some issues, and the start was a bit slow, but the middle point to finish I thought was incredible. Like
was that Guardian Devil?
Yeah, from the death of Karen onwards, it was insane. Just even the way he dealt with the death of Karen, this like each page is so memorable to me. It sticks out. Even just he's having like a breakdown on a bridge with Spidey.
After a funeral. He's like checking in. He's like, "Oh, Mysterio." Then ooh.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I was away. I love that Mysterio is like, yes, Spidey wasn't available, so I'm just gonna fuck your life.
Literally, I was just gonna say it's because it was Ben Reilly, wasn't it?
He's like,
that's not Spider-Man. But he mentions how he's always had a rivalry with Daredevil as well. I don't remember him ever before this.
That's what I mean. There was like some issues. There was some problems with the story, but the overall like product was pretty fucking good. Like
I like Guardian Devil too, if I'm honest. Mostly because I'm just a proper bitch for Mysterio. I just think he's cool.
His costume's sick. His costume's insane.
Animal Man, he's creative.
But even just like when they have that talk together on the bridge where Gwen died, I'm pretty sure it was that bridge. And then like Daredevil's like basically ready to quit. He's had enough of this shit. He's like questioning if they even do any good, and he's like saying like tell me one thing about this entire thing that was worth it or something along those lines. And he's like, you saved the baby. And he's like, "See you around, Matt." And he just pisses off. And then Matt's just left there like, "Shit, like thanks, Spidey."
Fair play.
Like, he's like, "Yeah, you're right. I did save the baby." And then the way that he names the baby Karen at the end, I thought was really sweet.
What
When
happens to
he's
the baby?
it goes into like a foster home, I think.
Ooh,
And
he
because
never
he
visits.
finally like, he just gave it the shittest name in the world and called it a day.
Yeah.
But
Thanks,
he's just
Daredevil.
like, he also set up, obviously him and his mother had reunions prior, the Frank Miller stuff.
Yeah.
But Kevin Smith did the first proper one in the sense of it felt like they were finally reconciling for all their like baggage they had together.
Yeah, there's no like hiding. In Frank Miller's, he's kind of like, was that my mum? And he's a bit unsure, isn't he?
Yeah, and then they later confirmed it, and then even still, they don't properly address the obvious mother and dad issues he has from a
Yeah.
child. But in the Kevin Smith run, I'm pretty sure that's when he like really struggles with faith, and he like even calls out his mother for like the shit she's done. And so like there was just so much to like personally about the whole story for me. And just
Oh, yeah.
the death of Karen was I love it. I love not that she's dead, pretty sad stuff, although you ruined his life twice. But
Yeah.
it's like it was written so well for me. And then the other one I said that was pretty basic would just be like the Frank Miller stuff.
Yeah, the whole
Like
saga.
yeah, even just Born Again.
Yeah.
Although Last Rites, I know he didn't write Last Rites, but that too was a really enjoyable story for me.
Nice.
But if you had
Where
a pick,
Kingpin falls.
yeah, I love the like the just the parallel of Born Again and then Last Rites of the two of them.
Yeah.
It's cool to see Kingpin finally properly lose like he did in that.
Yeah, he's always one step ahead, isn't he, until this one.
Until that pesky Daredevil ended up getting the evidence that he
Yeah.
didn't kill.
It was his own stick, wasn't it? Like it was his
Yeah.
walking stick that he used to
But
beat someone to death.
I like that they managed to relate Born Again to Last Rites with the cab driver.
Yeah.
Because then it makes them like actually feel like a sequel.
Yeah, mate.
But do you have a favorite story when it comes to the old Hornhead? The Hornhead himself?
Similar to yours, I'd probably just have to say Born Again. But
Yeah, it's class.
yeah, it's just boss in general. Yeah, Born
Did you
Again, I'll
like
have
the
to
show?
say.
When the show attempted a mixture
I
of Born Again
did.
and Last Rites?
It certainly tried at the end, didn't it? Season 1 was good. I enjoyed. Season 2 was okay for the start bit, like the Punisher bit. Mostly Season 2 was good because he actually wore the bloody suit.
Season 2 missed out the most important part. Kingpin was in prison. He never had a shower scene.
All that
How could
opportunity.
you miss that?
You know, in Season 3 when Matt goes to the prison to like check in on whatever he's doing, what if he just walked in on the prison scene?
His hypersenses picks it up.
Smells it from the door. It's like, oh, I'm not going in there.
But even just, I didn't like that they basically had Kingpin go to jail twice.
Yeah.
Because like the best part of Last Rites was that it was it was the big, finally he gets caught.
Do you think he goes down too easy in Season 1?
Well, I think it was a good build up. I still enjoyed Season 1. I still think it's, if I had to rank the seasons, I think seasons like it'd be like 3, 1, and 2. I like 2 just because I found 2 more fun because like you said, they wore the costume.
Yeah.
All of them had a costume almost. Like Electro
actually had the bloody, wasn't just in red.
And then Punisher was just batshit crazy. And he, honestly, in the Netflix shows, he only acted like Punisher within Daredevil.
I never watched the Punisher one. Was it crap, yeah?
I watched a few, then I just stopped. I was like, this... I mean, the episode starts off, like, season 1 is, he goes on a killing spree. I'm pretty sure he kills everyone related to the murder of his family, and then he gives up being Punisher. He just stops.
Punisher no more.
He even burns the vest, I think. And it's like he wouldn't really do that. Punisher will
because it's
always
still
have
crime, isn't it?
yeah. He wouldn't just call it a day when he gets everyone related to his family's murder. Like
It's a bit
he would
selfish,
continue.
that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's just I'm
Like,
done now.
he's got to
It's
make
like,
sure it never happens again to anyone else.
yeah, and it's just that's why like Daredevil season 2 got the Punisher right. I feel like out of all the appearances he had.
Yeah.
But then season 1 with Kingpin, it was a good build up. But if you're gonna do Last Rites again, don't do it for season 1. It's like you introduce Kingpin, and then he goes away within the first season.
It's a bit like how they had Man of Steel, and then they did Death of Superman. So like the second jump to the end.
Guys, it's like, do the homework. He's got to fight Micah Synn first. What's wrong with you?
Imagine if episode 1 of Born Again meets Daredevils. Gotta fight Micah Synn and the Man.
Season 2's The Purple Man.
Man Bull turns up for a cameo.
Didn't the Purple Man wasn't he the one behind Heather Glenn's father's whole demise?
I think so, yeah. It was some big
wasn't he like Kilgrave or something was his name?
Yeah, Zebediah Kilgrave. Purple Man's name. Yeah, Jesus H.
He got Heather's dad to commit some sort of fraud or something. I can't even remember anymore. There's so many Daredevil issues where I just like skim read it. I'm like, this is shit. This is so bad. It's like reading X-Men in the 60s.
Christ, the X-Men.
Even what about that time like with X-Men related? He went to that fucking town and Pyro and Blob were just there.
Yeah.
Just
chilling. Freedom Force, weren't they, mate?
They were trying to find that one mutant, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then the Blob almost assaults a woman. Do you remember that part?
Yeah. Well, he's a government agent and he's not asked.
He can get
He'll get away with it.
Did you call me what?
Lady Deathstrike first appeared in Daredevil.
What?
Yeah.
Was this around when was this? Silver Samurai time? Because I know Silver Samurai.
Google it now while I'm looking. But I swear to God, she appears first in Daredevil and fights him in like the sewers before fighting Wolverine later.
Because I remember Silver Samurai first appeared in Daredevil. There was who else was like we already mentioned Blackheart, which is already crazy enough, you know. Like,
Marvel's mad for stuff like this. Like Sabretooth was in Iron Fist, wasn't he?
Yeah. And Spider-Man had some weird first appearances. I'm pretty sure, like, Spider-Man, you can't forget the Kangaroo Man.
The Kangaroo. Yeah, Yoriko Oyama appeared first in Daredevil 197.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That 197. I remember that. Didn't they hook up? I can't. Oh,
probably. It's Daredevil.
Weren't they like?
He's like.
Were they? He gets around. I could be wrong. I could be mixing this up with another story, but I'm pretty sure they were in like this really cold place, and then they're like, "Well, we need to keep warm," and then it just slowly fades out of the building. It's like, what? What's with Daredevil and Foggy just going after so many characters like girlfriends?
Snaking them out, mate.
Liz Allen. Even like, didn't she think she was cheating on him once already? When his mother set up that model to like pretend they were together, and she'd
she like
flowers.
walked in and met the model.
Yeah, and then she'd like leave voice messages for him. And then Liz Allen was like sitting next to him while he played it.
Yeah.
And then Karen called right after it saying she needed to talk to someone. He's like, I swear women never call me. What about Foggy's greatest foe being food?
No, yeah.
Didn't they even like make a
He's
joke?
gonna have blooming cholesterol or something.
He beats cancer, but he can't beat food. You remember that one time? Didn't he dress up as Daredevil in the 60s?
Yeah, it was the Gladiator thought he was. The Gladiator thought Foggy was Daredevil.
It was so foggy that they, ironically foggy, that they couldn't tell it wasn't him.
Yeah, because he was trying to impress Karen, wasn't he? Because even though Matt and Foggy were after Karen, she liked Daredevil.
Yeah, and then she like believed it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Even though you can clearly tell the difference in their size.
Yeah, he's huge. Ridiculous. They expect us to believe some crap in the 60s, didn't they?
But even like for Daredevil, it's a shame he hasn't got a proper game. He almost did.
Yeah. Or cartoon.
He almost did as well.
Did he?
He almost
got.
I know
about the game.
I'm pretty like a 90s show he almost got.
Oh, that would have been sick.
But like the only images that you can find are just comic art, I'm pretty sure. But like they sort of just recolored it or something. It looks slightly different.
To make it like
but it's very
shaded.
Yeah, I think it was just because the show never got going. They didn't have anything really to show. But imagine like a 90s Daredevil show. He was in the X-Men 97 show.
He wasn't. He gets like his shit pushed in, doesn't he? Doesn't someone like knock him down?
He does well at the start, and then he just goes through the convenience store window.
Yeah.
Even what was with him in the animated series being blonde?
I know, yeah. What's they can't get his hair right in anything, can they?
Everyone's talking about restore the Snyderverse. I'm talking about restore Daredevil's orange hair. I even
but then MCU, even Mary Jane didn't have red hair, did she?
Oh, that was such a cop out to call her Michelle Jones so they could get away with it. I just hate
this reveal at the end. I just groaned, mate.
Especially if she was just used as like a mouthpiece for the writers.
Oh yeah. What about like slaves building some monument or something?
They're just on in like Washington.
Yeah.
They had the excursion. Like it's like, is Ann Nesenti writing this? Like what's going on? Even like when Daredevil gets back and he's losing his shit, I'm pretty sure the first story she goes to writing is like this weird sort of political one. I'm like, can we not? He just lost his mind for the billionth time. This isn't the time to do this sort of story.
Can he not just fight someone?
Yeah, like I'm sort of sick that everything now has Daredevil losing his mind.
Yeah, he's Batman or something, isn't it?
Well, like, there'd be a point where he would snap. You'd think he'd have enough.
Catholic guilt would get him.
It's just it's so. I don't know how to explain it. I guess it's like the writer now is so lazy that all they can think of is how can I make him depressed, and that's all they do is just that on repeat. And I just sort of wish that they could do something else besides that.
That's why I wrote it. But there's that run where he's back in San Francisco from, I'm going to guess, around 2014-ish, because it was around the Superior Spider-Man time. And he's more like happy and cheerful there.
I love that's his two moods. It's either extremely happy or extremely depressed, and there's no in between. Even when like I said, like when J.M. DeMatteis came through, or DeMatteis, I don't even know how to pronounce his name properly. He came through and he like did that whole, split personality story. He concluded it with Daredevil like regaining sanity and him actually being happy. And then for the next few issues, he had a massive smile on his face. And he was just like helping out New York. I sort of miss those stories where he was just happy.
Yeah. Did you ever read the one where he fights the Hulk? I think it's how Ben Urich finds out he's Daredevil.
Yeah, isn't that like near the start of Frank Miller's stuff?
Yeah. Remember that one being boss because he's like, how the hell am I gonna do this?
Because I love how Daredevil's the one hero who can just say that about a lot of villains he fights. Usually, like,
yeah, I think that makes him dead interesting. Not having super strength, I think, is a proper benefit to him.
He's literally got a handicap.
Yeah.
Even like Echo's like, if I pick this specific spot of New York, he's fucked because he can't hear, he can't see. It's too loud for him to hear. It's too loud for him to pinpoint on my location. Too much of a fire to smell my scent.
Too much of a fire to smell my scent.
She had like the train, a jackhammer going, construction TVs, a fire around the whole park.
Did you ever watch The Trial of the Incredible Hulk?
I've seen photos, but I haven't watched it.
Daredevil in that gets defeated because Kingpin's goons turn on the stereo while they fight him. Literally.
What does he do when he like... when a siren goes by, does he just like bleed from the ears?
Yeah, it goes down. They put on the radio and he goes like, and then they start beating the shit out of him.
Was he in his black costume as well? Like the
he's in his Man Without Fear. Just because they couldn't be asked making a real suit for him.
Well, if he's gonna have an ending like that, why bother? Like, there's no point.
Yeah.
It's just let him just get bashed. But even when you mention the Hulk story, Ben Urich, possibly one of the greatest side characters in Daredevil, for me.
Oh yeah.
He is class, especially with the fact that he could easily just win in life if he writes that one article just telling everyone Daredevil, his secret identity and his origin story, but he refuses because he knows of the actual ramifications of it.
Yeah.
And because Daredevil's his friend, so he just doesn't want to dog him like that. But I love the fact that he always has that in the back of his mind of just, I could win an award for this shit. I could get out of poverty, but I won't.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Even when he had that interest with like Leapfrog's son, and like Jameson wanted him to drop it because he's like, who gives a shit about Leapfrog? And he's like, Kingpin's literally on trial. Can you write a story about that? And he's like, nah, mate. Leapfrog. But he was like the only one that showed a form of interest in the child. And if not for him...
That sounds like something I'd do that. Instead of looking at like the cool happenings, what's going on, I'm over here like, well, the unicorn. He's got his power on.
Iron Man's deadly foe of the unicorn. Unicorn and titanium.
Instead of doing like, I'm planning titanium, man, if I'm honest. Because there's 3 issues where Russia challenge Iron Man to a boxing match, basically. And it's like Rocky.
Isn't he bound to die as well because he just didn't charge his body?
Yeah, he's about to die. And it's just like, it is just Rocky 4 with Drago.
I love that, like, in the 60s, he had to actually plug in his chest plate to a PowerPoint.
There's a bit in one of the unicorn ones, he turns up to like a science fair and he can't go straight away into it because he's got to plug himself in and sit there waiting for his armor to charge.
It's the greatest thing. I love how Stan Lee just came up with that shit.
Yeah.
What was he on, like, in the 60s of all the times to think, all right, now this man has to charge himself with the PowerPoint.
We need 4 pages of Tony sitting in a chair by the socket.
Just full on powering himself up. Or else he'll die.
He'll literally die if it goes out, mate.
And then because it's the 60s and everyone was written the same, like everyone had the main character who was a mess.
Yeah, who hated being the hero, but he had to do it.
And he was always making jokes. You had his like tubby best friend. You had
Happy
Happy
Hogan.
Hogan, or
Foggy.
you had Foggy Nelson, or even just if you wanted to count the Thing with Human Torch.
Yeah.
You had the love interest that was always annoying as fuck.
They're always the same, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, the
Liz
same.
and Karen and Pepper.
Even
all the same
Betty Brant.
Betty Brant, yeah.
And they always were like, they couldn't be together because it wasn't safe. That was always the complication of everything.
True.
You know, Iron Man couldn't be with Pepper because he had to charge his fucking body. Daredevil couldn't be with Karen because he's blind and is Daredevil.
And all the villains just choose what hero to fight, even if they've got no past with them. Mysterio just decides, I'm going to frame Spider-Man for a bank robbery. The Unicorn just decides, I'm going to go kill Iron Man.
Green Goblin's just like, you know what? I feel like just wasting this guy's time.
I'm going to make a film with the Enforcer.
At least with like Electro, he tried
himself.
At least he tried with like he's tried with Spidey first. That didn't work out. Then he went to Daredevil. It's like that didn't work out. Didn't he get like that one virus? Electro with like when Captain America.
He's got the plague. Spidey and Captain America punch out Electro because the kid he's kidnapped has got the plague, and Electro's like, get away from me.
Even just like with the love interest, I'll tell you, I found like the X-Men saga to be the worst with it because they're all mutants, and Cyclops was like, oh, it just would never work out. I'm like, you're all the
she's on your hero team, mate.
It's like I'm pretty sure because of his power, he felt like he couldn't be with anyone.
It isn't even that bad. Just wear glasses.
It's just don't open your eyes if you don't have glasses on.
Yeah. He's got red spectacles as well. Do him and Matt get them from the same place.
We cannot forget Professor X had a crush on Jean Grey.
Little creep, mate. He's like 15 and he's like 50. And no one must know. Yeah? Yeah? No one must know?
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, you have the crush on the one child who can read your mind. Out of all the people you picked her.
It was between her or Beast.
Even when Iceman was still Iceman and him and Beast would hit the town. And then like, oh, hang on a second, gals, we have to skedaddle. And then just all of a sudden his shoes come off. He's got these massive feet just
huge,
climbing the building.
That's all the time. There's this massive feet in it.
Yeah, Bobby had it easy. He just turned on
and off. Ice up, innit? It's like the Human Torch, but with ice.
Yeah, they had it the best. Also, like, the people love the Fantastic Four, but they hate the X-Men.
Yeah, for doing the same shit.
Even like Jameson, who's an advocate for mutant rights, goes and he hates on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Pick a side, mate. Pick a side. For
literally, what is the difference? He's like, yeah, Captain America stopped the bombs.
Yeah.
Spider-Man set those bombs.
The mutants are misunderstood people who were born different. Spider-Man has powers and wears a mask. He's a menace. Literally,
mate, there is no difference. What's JJ's stance on Daredevil? I know he mentions him in Born Again, doesn't he? He's like in it briefly.
I think he doesn't like him because of the mask, but just not as much as Spidey. I love that we managed to relate this to Jameson, though.
Yeah, brought it back to that one fella in the comments.
How does it relate to Jameson?
John Jameson is a werewolf. Daredevil.
What do you think about that one time he was black? I couldn't believe they messed it up. Like, surely they have a sheet of characters, like, just with the designs.
Think of all characters as well, they'd get the one from Spider-Man right. Like,
yeah.
the flagship product. He couldn't
Was he
have
wearing
opened
like
one book.
sunglasses or something? Even just like with certain other characters, like we said with Turk, but even when Daredevil like fainted in Las Vegas, the guy in charge of the entire building, I'm pretty sure like changed his skin color like every panel. If somebody like on one page he was, I'm pretty sure black, and then the next he was white. I'm like, make up your mind. Is he? What is he? It's just maybe we're
Bloody
seeing
hell.
through Daredevil's eyes.
Yes, suddenly just everyone's an outline. Safe on our costs there, mate. How does he know who he's fighting at any given time?
How does he know, besides the distinct heartbeat, that it's not just a different love interest? How do we know it's secretly not Mike Murdock from the depths?
He's real now as well, isn't he? In the friggin' the Infinity Stone stuff brought him into life.
Is he real?
And his best, yeah, and now he's best mates with, I think it might be the Rose or the Rose's brother. Some Fisk kid he's best mates with. It's like when they made Miles Morales, like Kingpin's buddy from 616. Now Mike Murdock is Richard Fisk's friend.
Do you remember that one weird time when Volume 1 should have ended right after the Karen trial, but for some reason it had like an extra 3 or 4 issues?
Yeah,
and
I skipped them. It was some Black Widow story, wasn't it?
No, he was... So basically, he had to go on a secret S.H.I.E.L.D. mission in France. And the procedure that S.H.I.E.L.D. gave him erased his memory. And he got stranded on mission. So he couldn't remember who he was. And he was just like fighting about. And then he, luckily at the very end, I think it was because of Foggy, he helped remember who he was or something like that. Oh no, sorry. The procedure happened again to him, and then he remembered who he was. Then he saw Foggy at the end, and then he's like, "Gee, Matt, you got your sight back because of all of this shit. Are you sure you want to go back to New York and, lose it all?" Because slowly, as time went on, the sight just lost again. And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll come back."
Yeah, sure.
I was like, "Why?"
Christ.
Even though I just opened my phone and it says Daredevil issue 123, first appearance of Jack Hammer, a Hydra member who uses technology to deliver concussive blast. He's just the Shocker, but
Yeah.
shit.
That takes some doing, mate, because he's already Shocker's already treated like a clown, and
Even like Torpedo, we can't forget Torpedo.
Never.
There was that weird, was it that voodoo story, like issue 130 with the skeleton holding Daredevil? And the guy was like holding like all these people like for cash or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was weird.
Sounds it.
I
remember the Swamp Thing stuff where he was like in the swamp.
Yeah.
Don't remember what he was doing there. Was
it the nuclear waste thing? It could have been. Even Daredevil 133, first appearance of Mindwave and Think Tank.
Mindwave.
He had so many first appearance of the Smasher. This is, oh my god.
Christ, what happens to these guys nowadays, man? Now he just fights Bullseye and Kingpin, don't he?
They probably just had like the bar with no name.
Yeah, they're waiting for like the next Punisher rampage, aren't they? To be
just
the casualties.
They just want their life ended as soon as possible. Even what about for Daredevil's big 150th issue anniversary? They had the first appearance of Paladin, is it?
Paladin, yeah.
I couldn't believe he first appeared in Daredevil. Didn't he even just like stop fighting because he had respect for him?
Yeah, some stupid one.
He's like, "You're good at this." He's like, "Yeah, bye." It's like
he's like a Frank half Miller. And half good and bad Paladin, and it depends who's paying him.
Yeah, he doesn't really give a shit. Isn't Solo like more like in the name of justice? He still does hired work, but Solo.
Got that issue the other day.
Can't forget Solo.
Never
I have
forget
both of his
Solo, mate.
keys.
Both.
I have his first cameo and his first full appearance.
No way.
His first
Stunt
cameos in
master.
Women's Spider-Man. Sunmay, didn't he just become a showman in LA?
Yeah.
Stick.
Get
Stick
Stick.
was he's
He's like
classic.
yeah, mate. He's like his best mate, isn't he?
I mean, they have a complicated relationship. It's like if Skip Westcott was useful and taught Peter something. That's what Skip is. Even what about that time where him and Wolverine just team up?
Yeah, that's the Lady Deathstrike one, but before she's Lady Deathstrike.
But then the Inca on the cover got the cover wrong, and I hate it so much.
Yeah.
So it
Wolverine's
looks like
mask looks a bit goofy, doesn't it?
it does, yeah, especially without the white eyes. But
Yeah.
even just you see how he's like holding the guy with his shirt with his claws?
Yeah.
The Inca got confused and mistook a piece of the shirt as his thumb. So it looks like his claws are coming out of the front of his wrist. As opposed from where his knuckles are.
Christ. And that's Wolverine. He was huge at the time, man.
Yeah, how could
You
they
think the
mix
people
that up?
working at the thing didn't know?
Did you like Black Widow though in the books?
No, she was taking time away from Daredevil.
Even
was just
later
like
on,
somewhere for him to live.
I liked her more later on in her like when they moved past their relationship, and they were just like constantly remind each other they dated for so long.
Yeah.
I thought like the only saving grace of Daredevil and Black Widow when they had that shared title was just the jokes between him being like a chauvinist.
Yeah.
She was big on that though, wasn't she? Like she was one of like the main
Yeah, she'd
feminist characters
mentioned it
back,
a lot, wouldn't she?
especially in the 70s and stuff. What about was it the Gale or something?
Oh, yeah, I remember
The Irish
yeah.
killer?
Bloody hell.
Didn't he try to kill his future, like Matt's future girlfriend, that later left him for Foggy? The Gale.
Okay, mate.
Classic villains here, man. You don't
This
get
is
better than.
this is the good stuff here, mate.
I couldn't even believe even Madam McEvil. You know, got her name.
Is that her birth name?
Yeah, she got the name Moondragon in Daredevil. Out of all issues, Daredevil.
The same Moondragon, like the bald woman.
Yeah, that's where she got the Moondragon name. That's her origin story.
Craven, didn't she?
Her origin story issue is within Daredevil.
That's so weird. Like when they go on to do like hardcore stuff, and the debut is just back here in Daredevil.
I'm pretty sure they almost dated in that issue too.
Yeah.
Like they were both very attracted to each other. I'm pretty sure. If I'm remembering properly,
it was their like power, wasn't it?
Or like
that was messing with
because I think
them.
Daredevil's like something about him, and she had like such a strong liking towards him. Like, remember when Hawkeye was just pissed off at Daredevil for stealing Black Widow?
Yeah. He's got it bad with other heroes, Hawkeye, mate. He hates him, he hates
he was a twat. He was so annoying.
And then when it was just when the Avengers was just Captain America, the twins, and Hawkeye.
Oh, he was annoying. He made it his goal to be annoying.
Yeah, he thought he was helping, wasn't he, by winding them up and like keeping them on the toes, like, and he was just pissing them off.
It's like, just shut the fuck up. Like, we're just sick of your shit. Who was that? The guy, the army blind one, who Daredevil sort of became mates with.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, the veteran.
Yeah, what was his name?
Oh, I don't remember his name, but I remember there was a story about him, wasn't there? With
And he had a dog.
Yeah.
Black Panther, I think, appeared in one of the comics.
Yeah, just because the guy was black, Black Panther at the time.
It was the 70s. This product of its age, I guess. But even just him and like Daredevil had still pretty decent team ups. Like I didn't mind their friendship for a while.
He was. Was he Daredevil during Civil War, or was Matt Black Panther?
I think it'd have to be Matt as Black Panther.
Yeah. There's a time where they are like, they do swap.
Well, I want to. There's some covers of Daredevil. I want to quickly, because I know we've been going for a bit, but there's some covers of Daredevil.
It's all been on topic.
Oh, people won't even get that one.
No, that's behind the scenes.
But even there's some covers of Daredevil that are classic, and I'm talking like if you can put this on the screen,
yeah.
if I can find the issues, because my God, what were they thinking? Daredevil issue 29 is the first one. Whenever I like flick through my Daredevil issues, these certain covers like, why? Like 29 has Daredevil being unmasked, and he's been like held by these mobsters.
Oh, yes.
As he's been unmasked, he's wearing his glasses still
under the suit.
And it makes zero sense with just how.
That's ridiculous.
How did I even love like the death of Micah Murdock, where he's doing like this sort of like clean face with I don't understand what he's trying to tell us from this pose he's doing. It's just the most random shit. Even let's see, what were what were more tragic covers from Daredevil?
Yeah, the face from Daredevil here.
In 29.
He's laughing. Yeah, no one.
That one
is Mike Murdock. It's like, okay, he's dead.
Sad. He's just the writers were just happy they finally didn't have to do any more shit.
Stan, this isn't really working.
I love even issue 68 where he's getting changed and he's just like half naked but still in like a boxer's gear, but then got his Daredevil mask on. Imagine seeing that fresh off the release. You wouldn't even know what to expect.
What do you think's the best cover?
Best? Okay, we have to go straight to the Frank Miller stuff. Straight there. Let's see.
Oh, yes, I've just found that one where he's in his box and stuff. Who are these knobheads jumping in? Drop those gloves, masked man. You're not stepping into the ring until you've settled with Crag.
They're built like Skip Westcott. I mean, like, while I quickly try to find Frank Miller stuff, the one off the top of my head would be like Daredevil issue 3 from volume 2, I think. You know when he's like sitting on the church and the rope from his billy club's like everywhere?
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like covered in shadows. I think that looks sick. But also, let me see if I can see it from here.
There's a similar... I've just Googled it. Oh, yeah, it's everywhere.
Is issue... I can't see the number from here. Is it issue 53 when he's holding the scales?
I'll have a look. 53. Yeah.
I love that cover.
That's boss.
I got it painted for me.
Nice.
Because I have like painting like on my wall of just comic covers. And I got that as one of them because it's like if you got one Daredevil painting, it has pretty much everything you need. You got red suit, yellow suit, scales for his lawyerness, and him fighting mobsters. Like this covers pretty much all the bases. I mean, like in the Frank Miller run, I love 184. Like no more.
I was just gonna say, that's what I've got up here. I was just gonna say, no more Mr. No more Mr. Next guy's got the gun in your face. Sick, mate.
It's cool as it's on my wall. I got that one.
Oh, nice. That's boss.
It's sick. even, I mean, it's not a cover. I mean, we've listed covers, but while I try to find this one page, do you have any more of your favorite Daredevils?
Not from the top of my head. I'm crap with like remembering specific numbers. Like just then, I just type in Daredevil gun cover because I knew what one I wanted.
This one was from like Frank Miller's first bout of issues. It might have been 181. I think that's the death of Electro. But I just love the whole death scene with no words, just her getting stabbed, and then the slow like fall over. It's just
yeah, man, I know what you mean.
It's so impactful. Even just when he's losing his shit, and then Foggy's just pissed at Matt, and then he just like quietly says, "I don't know," and then the two of them just sort of look at each other with a sadness.
Yeah.
And the way that
I
Frank
love Bullseye's cockiness, where he's like, "You're pretty good, but me, I'm magic," and then he friggin' runs her through with her own sign.
Bullseye just doesn't hold back.
Nah, mate. There was a recent issue. I think it was in the run where he was in prison, or it was building up to it, where Electro was Daredevil, but Bullseye was on the loose. And literally all of New York had locked down. And the only people out were the heroes looking for him. Like Iron Man was looking around. Spider-Man was like on the scene. Because they know Bullseye's out and this means business. Did you ever see the bit where he fought Spider-Man in Dark Reign?
I think I've read it, but I just don't remember it that well.
I think it was during... It might have been during American Son or something, but yeah. With Lily Hollister.
Dark times.
Where he uses Peter's... It was dead stupid because it was during the time there was a magic spell, so no one knew who Spider-Man was. They find his camera webbed to the wall saying, like, property of Peter Parker. And he's got this tracker in his camera that follows his chest logo. So he's always in the middle of the shot.
Yeah, but...
And Bullseye uses that technology to develop bullets that'll follow Spider-Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He, like, fights him in the coffee bean or something.
Oh, not the coffee bean. When you mentioned American Son, I just got instant flashbacks into Lily Hollister.
Lily Hollister. Pregnant with Norman.
What is with Norman? Put it away.
He's
Leave these people alone.
And May's next.
Now the sins are gone. Aunt May finds him respectable enough to date.
Gives Peter a cousin.
That's crazy. He creates his own new sins. What about when Daredevil got the red costume with Namor?
Yeah. Random was that?
Didn't Namor just like break his door almost or something? He's like, I want to sue the world.
Yeah, this is lots of. That's another weird one, like the Hulk one, where he's like, "How am I meant to take down this super strong lunatic?"
Yeah, Namor was even when he had to fight Namor, he's just like, "There's no chance, no chance."
Yeah,
didn't he? Like, he used that in the Hulk story. He's like, "Well, I fought Namor and survived." It's like,
yeah, psych himself up with that.
Even that issue you mentioned of like where he cripples Bullseye, wasn't that issue 200? That cover was pretty good. That was a pretty good cover. I love because it's almost like the aftermath of the cripple that you don't really see of him on the ground paralyzed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And his neck looks like it's gone the wrong way here, isn't
it? Yeah, he's cooked. There's issue 169. And it's Daredevil, Bullseye singing, like surrounded by a bunch of Daredevil corpse. Because I'm pretty sure that's the issue where he just goes batshit crazy and he sees everyone as Daredevil. And he starts killing everyone he sees. And he's having like a massive spaz, and he's
loving it. That smile on his face there, mate. He is loving this.
It's classic. I love it.
He's boss Bullseye. He's a proper for such a low power. It's proper threatening.
Psycho. Yeah, he's just crazy. Even
Doesn't
just
need
with
energy
his,
beams and crap to sort you out.
even the adamantium skeleton.
That's extreme, that mate. Why is some random 2 people have an adamantium skeleton?
I
Main
like when,
character Wolverine.
didn't he like
And
get
Paul.
his tooth in one fight? He had his tooth knocked out. He grabbed the tooth through it and hit Matt or something.
Yeah, trying to kill him with his own tooth.
It's just the coolest shit. It's like the fact that he
Anything's a
can.
weapon in his hand.
Yeah, it's sick. I forgot to return this. Throws the billy club straight into Karen. Even just like I thought that there was a chance she could survive for like 1 second until I realized like that maybe Bullseye wouldn't kill her. Then he just goes around and throws it. Because he's
That's
like, you have
cool as
guts
well,
or
like
something.
using Daredevil's own weapon to kill like the love of his
Oh,
life in front of him.
There's definitely going to be
That's
some trauma to that
devious.
billy club.
Yeah. Do you reckon he still uses that billy club?
He probably throws it more angrily than the other one.
Yeah. You still smell it on it.
Oh, I feel so bad for him when he says that shit. He's like, I've like washed the sheets so many times and this still got her scent.
Yeah, just trying to figure.
And then when he went into the rental store and then Echo came through and he quickly hid in the adult section. Immediately had to pick up out of all the films he could have picked up, it was the Karen Page one.
Christ, he does it to himself.
Well, if he ever misses her, at least he's got like an endless supply of videos to remember her by.
Yeah.
And the talk show. Don't forget the talk show.
Yeah. Page Angel or whatever it was.
Angel Page or something, and she was gonna cheat on him, and then she didn't. Crazy that she was about to cheat, and then she begs for his help 2 seconds later.
I know, mate. What a snake.
Granted, Matt's not that better than her, but at least Matt is a hero.
Yeah.
Were you expecting that when you read Frank Miller's stuff, like just to see Karen in that way?
I think, yeah, because I'd read about it before I'd read it. You know what I mean? Like, it's from the 80s in it, and I'd Googled it beforehand.
Yeah, because when I first read it, I went in pretty much completely blind.
Oh, good pun. Daredevil pun.
And then when I saw Karen, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was so lost. And even when the way she got to New York was horrible. Remember how she had to like hitch a ride with someone that was using her the entire way, and then when she tried to leave, like he wouldn't let her.
Yeah, he drew a knife, didn't he?
Yeah, and then she would have to like was it Foggy that helped in the end?
I think so, yeah. She finds Foggy before she finds Matt.
Big man Foggy puts on the Daredevil suit one last time. Instead of Billy Clubs, he's got Born Again's just Foggy taking over. Instead of Billy Clubs, he's got like sausages, like all linked together that he can like use to rope around.
Like nunchucks. Got them.
Just fucking, the oil from the sausage will cause acne to the villains.
Goes in their eyes, blinds them.
The Kingpin just like he's just, my face. You're giving me acne.
When I was a boy, I had acne.
The acne will embarrass me in front of Vanessa. I can't.
Two separate villains thought Foggy was Daredevil, even though Foggy's like twice the stomach size.
Yeah.
Matt Murdock genuinely believed he was Daredevil. The Gladiator can forgive because he is like a lunatic, but still.
Yeah, the master who's like built his whole thing on being this master planner. It's just so stupid.
He owns their building as well, so he sees them every day. He still thinks
that's right, yeah.
that's the Foggy Nelson, that's Daredevil.
The big twist that he was secretly the villain?
After that build up, and
You
then
can
I like
see just by the chin alone, he's got a different chin.
it's chiseled. Matt
Even just
Marauders' master weapon was some like disintegration ray that he ends up falling into himself. But
Didn't
luckily enough, it's a teleportation ray instead all of a sudden. So he survived.
how did Mike die? I forgot how Mike Murdock died.
I'm trying to Google it. I need to know.
The fabled Mike. He proper got away with it, didn't he? He like just.
They genuinely believed he was. King, but what's this one? Kingpin breaks into Matt's office and beats Mike to death. When did that happen? Michael Murdock, fragment, 6 months. Fragment of what is imagination?
Mike Murdock wiki.
Yeah, I'm literally honest. I'm on his Wikipedia. Doesn't say. It just says when he becomes real. Because of the Inhumans.
What issue was it? We said the cover, but I already forgot the cover number. It should be 41, I think.
The source is
41.
608. Yeah, 41 this says.
Okay, let's see if I can pull this up. We have to... if we don't talk about the death...
Yeah, we need to finish on how Daredevil's greatest ally meets his...
ally. Without the fabled Mike Murdock.
His partner in his quest for justice. They don't call me Catman for nothing. Quote by Catman. It wasn't the Animen, was it? Is it the... Oh my god, it was. The Unholy Three of Ape Man, Bird Man, and Catman were the villains of the issue.
I can't see. I don't understand the point of where he dies.
Oh, okay, I've got it here. During the battle,
has the device.
Daredevil
he gets sent away.
T-Ray.
Yeah, that's the T-Ray.
Wants to be rid of his Mike Murdock identity. He wants to be rid of him. Matt allows Foggy to believe Daredevil died in battle.
Matt said to Karen, it had to happen sooner or later. Mike went out the way he would have wanted to.
He thought Mike was Daredevil, didn't he?
Yeah, they all believed it somehow, even though they were never in the same room together.
Never. He never saw them.
He never
saw either of them
glasses.
Without the glasses.
They just decided that, yeah, that's plausible enough.
Yeah, that'll do. Should we have like a funeral, or do we have to go identify the corpse? Nah. It's okay.
Could you imagine if, instead of like, when he used the body of that weird demon clone to fake his death?
Yeah, he was like, oh, fine.
Imagine if he was like, finally, Mike Murdock has a body. He goes back to the gang.
The grave of Mike Murdock.
He goes up to Karen and Foggy. Hey, gang, my brother's finally found. He just drops the corpse onto the desk. I would have loved if that demon thing just actually talked like Mike instead.
Yeah, becomes like takes his identity.
Even this, I'll send you this panel because it has to go up.
Oh god!
It's like him singing "Come in, whoever you are."
That's the thumbnail. That means.
And he's wearing like his hat backwards. And then Karen's like, Foggy, it is Mike Murdock. And then Foggy's like, I'm all shook up about the whole thing. And he says, sticks and stones break my bones. What the fuck is he saying? But Wolsey never... What is he saying?
Oh, the 60s.
Not even English. Even I found the panel of him like coming up with the disguise. That's shocking. That is shocking. It's
bloody hell. Stan, what were you doing?
Didn't he use Mike Murdock in the show? I feel like he was
Born in the Netflix.
Yeah, I remember hearing Mike being mentioned.
No way, mate. Imagine if that was in Born Again and it's Charlie Cox acting him.
Starts calling everyone pussycats. When Matt refuses to give Claire Temple his name, she says, I'll call you Mike.
So yeah, Matt Murdock is in the MCU.
It's like that shitty Thor joke in the film where he steals the identity of that of Donald Blake.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
I hated that so much. Could you imagine that serious Daredevil show? Just like the new season of Born Again, he just comes in, hey yo, pussycats, Mike Murdock here. He'll just start talking like the 60s.
That white tiger is whack.
I don't dig on his swine. Anyway, Tubbs calls Foggy the Tubbs. I feel like Mike was just an outlet to just talk shit about everyone in his life.
Yeah. It's like a shield so he can feel Karen's ass on the way past and not get done for it.
Yeah, if he tried it with Black Widow, just know he's gonna call the Chavinist. Even the fact that the love triangle turned into a love square of Karen, Mike, Matt, and Foggy.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like, and the fact that Matt at one point was competing with himself.
What a mess.
It's shocking. It's so
sure
bad.
Is.
I wonder how many times we've said it's something about early Daredevils is shocking.
It was very dodgy at the start. They definitely pulled it back around the Miller stuff, but before
they got lucky with Bullseye with Marv Wolfman. They got lucky there.
Oof.
If not for him, they would have went so long without a decent issue.
Yeah.
Some like
the annuals
hardcore
were crap as well.
Yeah, I skim read them all. I was like, this even with the gang of kids with the what are they doing? It was so shit. Yeah. And even just like, I bet there's some sort of like Silver Age Daredevil extremist out there that's just gonna.
If you read so past issue 150, you've gone too far. You've already hit the peak of the Matador.
The real hidden gem is the first appearance of the Matador. Like, remember when he had like an actual backpack? Where he's like costume.
Yeah. Daredevil, Namor, say no more.
Frank Miller, buh. Give me Don Heck any day of the week. That was such a dark time. Not only did you have that Hawkeye jealous story, but I'm pretty sure Don Heck was being the artist for majority of that as well.
Yeah, he was doing them all and he's doing it both.
He was past his prime.
It was Wally Wood who made the red one, wasn't
it? Yes, I think.
What do you think made them change it? What was wrong with the yellow? I
didn't even think the yellow was bad. I like the yellow suit.
It made them stand out a bit more.
But honestly, I think if not for the red suit, maybe the yellow one wouldn't be as loved. Because now the yellow suit has a real like novelty to it.
Yeah, when that bad boy comes out, mate, you know you're some Daredevil.
You know that he's gonna do some crazy shit, like randomly kiss Karen in the diner after having a split personality episode.
Have you seen that new like where it's he's in black and he's got like the red hand wraps like a boxer? I think it was Marvel Now. And he had this lame sidekick blind spot.
What's with the blind things in this story?
I don't know.
Can he not escape blind people? I even like
And he
how,
had,
like, with Echo, he's like, Kingpin's like, oh, he's blind and she's deaf. Match made in heaven.
How did he
Like,
communicate?
she has to read lips and pray to. Like, what if he's looking the other way?
Yeah.
I even felt bad because they watched the film together in cinemas, and they were such a pain in the ass because they were. She would describe what's happening, and he'd say what they're saying, and people were like, "Can you shut up,
Yeah,
please?"
other people in the theatre trying to watch.
You got them two just talking the most shit. The classic foes of Daredevil, Mike Murdock.
Who'd you like him teaming up with the most? Then for Daredevil, we've spoken about villains.
Well, you got Spidey, which is
Yeah.
the common one.
Yeah.
Okay, let me reach through the
Who
archives
else
here.
does he team up with anyone other than Black Widow?
He
Does
teamed
he
up with Black
often-
Widow, Black
You never
Panther.
see like Daredevil and Human Torch, do you?
Nah, never. I don't think so. Black Panther he had a few good stuff with Black Panther. Like the banter was good, I thought. Besides that, it was pretty, standard for the time.
Yeah.
Who else?
There's an issue with Daredevil. I think it's 16 right at the start, where Daredevil doesn't even solve the main crisis of the issue because again, it's the Mask Marauder. And it's Spider-Man who stops the crime. Daredevil's
Isn't
just
that like
there.
the first like drawn work by John Romita Jr.? I'm pretty sure.
I think so. He's like Daredevil's like his name's on the book, but he doesn't actually solve the problem.
Even I love the fact that they're like, "Hey everyone!" in the credits section, John Romita is gonna be like the new artist for Daredevil. He's fresh on the scene. All that he did one issue and then just didn't do anything after that besides covers. The rest was Gene Colan. It's like, you couldn't have been like any more wrong about what John Romita was gonna do for Daredevil.
Well, there's an issue of Spider-Man again with Daredevil, where it says at the bottom, like, if you don't say this is the greatest Marvel yarn since yesteryear, we're never speaking to you again. And it's Spidey and Daredevil fighting the circus of crime. And
Was
I
that
meant
issue...
to think this is the masterpiece.
Was this issue 16 of Amazing Spider-Man?
I think so, yeah.
Where he's got the yellow suit still, right?
First team up with Daredevil ever.
Yeah, yes.
They're touting it on the cover, and then you open it, it's the circus of crime.
Yeah, because he's blind, he doesn't get hypnotized.
Yeah, exactly. The hypnotism doesn't work because he's blind, and BD has to save the day.
I always hated, I never liked the circus of whatever they were. I always just put it out of my mind. Especially when they were in like She-Hulk for a bit, like that one issue. It's just so bad.
I only know like Princess Python joins the Serpent Society.
Didn't like
it's because she has a snake.
Didn't her and Spider-Man flirt in like issue 20 something?
Yeah.
He like full on had a bit of a crush on her.
Tries it on. She's got this big snake that's trying to eat him. And Spidey's like,
oh.
Ooh. And then in that What If Flash Thompson with Spider-Man, like the opening scene isn't choking the snake out.
Could you imagine when he's getting like strangled by the snake? He quickly changes into Peter Parker and he's just like, "Can you knock it off, please?"
I'm trying to date your owner. Stop it.
The snake just engulfs him and he's just like, hey, can you knock it off?
Come on, knock it off.
It's like that real bad like Cody Co song where he's like, racism, knock it off. Like, bullying, knock it off. It's just that's Spider-Man's reduced to a bad parody song.
Yeah.
But the classic Spidey tales, some have to include Daredevil. Like when Daredevil starts kissing Black Widow, Black Cat, and he's like, "I think this is the start of my supervillain origin."
A classic.
I love how pissed he is as well.
What about Marvel Team Up? 55, in which Daredevil and Spider-Man fight Electro and Blizzard.
That's a classic issue.
It opens with Blizzard freezing a mailbox, and Daredevil swings it and kicks his ass.
Better than Spider-Man can with powers.
Literally, good work, Daredevil. You got it.
Even when Spidey had one arm, you knew it was game over. When he had to try to fight the lizard, he was in deep shit.
Wasn't it the Shocker that broke his arm?
Yeah, I think so. It was right after that, wasn't it?
Yeah. He has to fight the Shocker with one arm, and Lizard, like, there's like a train yard, and he opens the train, and it's full of snakes and lizards.
Time. He had the Rhino. Then, of course, relating to Jameson's family, he had his son. And then he had, what was his name again that he turned into? Was it
Captain Jupiter or something?
Oh, yeah, because I just remember from the show. The show was like Colonel Jupiter.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't remember if he was called that in the comic book.
No, it was some dodgy where we got like Superman powers after from the space.
And then you had the Rhino right after, the Rhino before it and after it.
That Rhino issue had Foggy Nelson in it.
Did it? I can't remember. They're everywhere.
Teaming up. I like it when I'm like reading Daredevil and he'll casually walk past and he'll see, oh, that's Peter and Mary Jane, not just in Last Rites.
That's class, yeah.
There's another instance, I can't remember the exact issue, but he's just like, look at that couple over there, not a care in the world, and it's clearly Peter and MJ.
Because I like that in a way, like him and Spidey and Daredevil are pretty similar in the sense of like being street level, and it makes sense to why they would actually be best mates. And the fact that they just regularly appear within each other's books in the background, I think is such a good gag to have.
Yeah, I see them too as like partners in crime, like not like in the police where you get like a partner.
Oh, they're like made for each other.
Yeah, that's them too to me. Like you've got Spidey, the jokey one, then you got Daredevil, who's like no nonsense, but they've both got each other's backs and kicking ass.
If you mess up a story with them two, never ever write either one of the character again.
I know, it's so easy.
If you can't do a good Spidey Daredevil team up, then what's the point? What is the point?
Exactly.
Because so many of them are class, especially when they're depressed and like the other one needs to be helped out.
Yeah. The death of Gene DeWolf, mate, a masterpiece.
It is, like the fact that he was full on gonna just go into the crowd and just start tearing everyone apart.
Yeah. I like that bit as well. Well, go on.
So what were you going to say?
I was just going to say the bit where, like, Daredevil, I think Matt Murdock's representing someone who's suing Aunt May. And Peter comes in and tells him off, and it cuts to Daredevil's point of view, and he's like, holy shit, I think this is Spider-Man. Like, he can sense it on him.
Remember, didn't Spider-Man, like, he almost discovered Daredevil within, like, this second meeting, like, who he is?
Yeah.
Didn't he got it, I think, and then through some sort of bullshit
so
writing.
Because Spidey turns up at Nelson and Murdock and goes, I know you're Daredevil. In front of Karen and Foggy.
And then he couldn't pinpoint which one it was or something like that.
Yeah. Is that why he made up Mike Murdock? Because Spidey dropped him in it.
In a doozy. In a real doozy. Because I remember when, like, he discovered Peter's identity, I'm pretty sure, just by matching the heartbeats.
Yeah.
I hate, like, that when Daredevil ignores his radar sense of, like, the same heartbeat. Or, like...
Yeah, he should tell, shouldn't he? The Chameleon, for example, should never get past Daredevil.
It's similar to him. It's funny, because him and Spidey have the same issue of the writers just wanting to force a complication of... He ignores his spider sense, and you think, why would you ignore that out of all things?
Yeah.
There's so many times in Spidey issues, like especially from the 70s to 80s, where he actively just dismisses his Spidey sense. He's like, oh, no, it's just being erratic at the moment. And it's like, no, you're in danger, you moron. And then like 2 pages later, he's like, oh, I'm in danger. It's like, no shit.
He'll be like, huh, that's weird. My spider sense went off. Instead of immediately being like, oh shit, better move.
he looks around for 2 seconds, sees no one's in like his direct line of eyesight, and he goes, "Yeah, that's all right. That's fine."
Yeah. Huh,
It's like
must have been the wind.
you're in New York. You're swinging through buildings. They're probably in a fucking
Someone's
building.
Yeah, someone's probably got the blooming crosshairs on you or something, mate.
Remember that one time where Aunt May walked in on Peter and Mary Jane when they had to live at and in Forest Hills again after losing everything?
What
It
time,
was,
mate? They always lose everything.
I think this was when they lost their apartment and then they had to move back in to where with Aunt May.
Yeah.
And then they were like, obviously,
Anymore.
you know, within their own privacy, doing stuff. And then Aunt May just burst through the door. I'm pretty sure they're like hiding under the sheets. Or what about the time in Web of Spider-Man when she finds MJ's lingerie pictures and
Yeah.
she almost like has a heart attack?
What does she expect?
I'm
She's a
jealous.
supermodel, mate.
She wasted the photos by having a heart attack, and we just get to see the back of them with nothing.
Literally, mate. What are they playing at?
She should have died in one more day.
She should have, genuinely. She wanted to, didn't she? Doesn't she say to him, like, let me go, Peter, Jesus Christ.
She's like,
You're like 35.
I'm 150 years old, Peter. Let me
Peter,
go.
please, it hurts. Just let me go. He's like, no, Satan, sort me out. Satan, stop kissing Daredevil and get over here. That was so stupid.
You can keep her in constant pain. Just don't let her die, please.
Yeah, just don't let her die, you know?
Even
Uncle Ben's looking down from heaven like, what's he doing? No.
Didn't he speak to Marvel's equivalent of God beforehand as well?
Literally, like 2 issues before, and God's like, don't worry, son, I've got a plan for you.
Yeah, he's like, see all these people? You save them. Without Spider-Man, these would all be dead. And he's like, yeah, but Aunt May. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure that he even like ended that story with, yeah, you're right. You know, I have to be Spidey, and it's time to let go. Next issue.
Very next like story arc. He's like, no, I'm going to
tell me bullshit. Though that Doctor Strange couldn't heal a bullet wound.
I know, mate. I was just going to say, we've got Reed Richards and all his fantastical devices. He can't do nothing.
Has Guardian
Doctor Strange has no magical. Don't the X-Men have a character called like Elixir who can heal anyone of anything? Even go to Kitty Pryde to reach in and pull out the bullet. Even
someone like, or what I thought was really annoying was someone like Loki in the series before One More Day gave Peter a wish.
Oh, it was a wish, exactly.
Wasn't it like you can do whatever you want and I'll grant it type thing?
So, yeah, is that it? Because he helped them out. Yeah, he basically said, if you want something, come to me and it's yours.
Yeah, like a one-time offer. And I feel like the writers even forgot about it themselves. And then I feel like just before they knew they were going to do One More Day, they're like, shit, we still have this one thing that could ruin the entire story. Let's just waste the entire wish. And I can't remember what he wished for, but he got rid of it. And then conveniently One More Day happens. And you think, come on.
Shocking, mate. And it's never recovered.
It really hasn't. It's just...
This is why I stick to like 60s, 70s. The 80s is easily my favourite like period of Spider-Man. But anything past... If I had to put a hard number on it, you know that issue where he's just joined the Avengers and he fights like Hydra versions of Hawkeye, Thor, Iron Man, and
He looks like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. I think
and then
around
Mary
there
Jane
is
had
where
the
I would
cheating
stop.
scandal.
Yeah.
Because they were staying at Tony's penthouse. And they're like, oh, Mary Jane Watson, former model, sleeping with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine just talks shit to his face about it.
Yeah, he smashes him out the window. But that is the latest I would ever go with Spider-Man, because that's right before Civil War. If you really want
to push it.
That is pushing it. Genuinely. Stop it if this be my destiny. I know it's only shortly in, but that's
it's if you just read the first 33 issues, it's one of the greatest things in the world.
Yeah, there you go. You're done. Easy.
I mean,
maybe.
I've said it.
Go on.
I've said it before, but like for me, my perfect stopping point is ASM 500. I think that's in terms of an ending, you can't get better than ASM 500.
Yeah, goes back and does his greatest hits, and then gets one last little talk with Uncle Ben. Beauty.
With Romita Senior coming back to draw that part of the story was just perfect.
Yeah.
And it was Peter's birthday, and he actually had a happy ending.
It was happy birthday.
And then Mary Jane turns up the light and says happy birthday, and it's like, oh, that's sweet. Maybe they can finally have a child.
The shaker. No way.
The shaker.
I'm holding what's it say? It's literally called Happy Birthday. It's got 500 in that, but then right after 500 is the shaker, and then right after that there's the tailor who wants to make him his last stand suit.
Oh yeah, the last stand suit. Yeah, I love that panel where he's like self-conscious about the suit.
Puts the mouth on it, that bit.
And he sees Venom in the mirror.
Yeah, it's like one with the mask on, like with a mouth, and he just sees Venom. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and he goes back to bed with the mask on, and she's like, "You really got to stop drinking coffee."
He's like, got his arms crossed, and he's like, "I'm not happy with this."
And she's like, "You got to stop drinking coffee so late," and he just replies with, "I'm hip." It's class.
What? That's class.
That's JMS though. JMS is but okay, he had some weird shit with the mystical aspect of Spidey, but his Peter and MJ writing, you can't beat it. It's top tier.
He never outright says though that it was the mystical stuff. He just brings up that it might have been. It was Dan Slott later who brings in like the inheritors and that crap.
I hate whenever they have that idea of him being chosen. I think it's
the point is it's a random, anyone could do it.
Yeah, and it was like the point that it was him of all people was that lucky that this kid would turn out to be the hero he did.
Yeah.
You give it to someone who isn't Peter Parker, then you don't have Spidey. You have someone who's going to be a complete asshole.
Yeah, give it to the 1,000.
That's what people like don't understand is Peter Parker is Spidey.
Yeah, this Spider-Verse crap I'm not a fan of. Where like anyone can...
well. You take away Peter Parker, you don't have Spider-Man. You take away Matt Murdock, you don't have Mike Murdock. You know, it's just
tragic.
It's like you take away, like Matt, and you don't have Daredevil, and they're the key aspect because it's who they are, and people seem to forget that now. They get so engulfed within this. Anyone can wear the mask. It's like that's not the point. You misunderstand the point of anyone can wear the mask. The point is that you can see yourself as Spidey because he's wearing a mask. That's the point.
Yeah, and like he has your problems, like your rent and your woman trouble. The point is,
you can be him theoretically with that in a sense of relating to him and him covering himself up completely, so to the point where he's an inspiration to all. But at the end of the day, he takes that mask off. He's Peter Parker. That's the point.
Yeah.
Daredevil takes that mask off. He's Matt Murdock. It's not the same, and that's what it never will be the same.
Do you ever see that thing where it's like, what if you were Spider-Man? Then you turn the page because you'd be dead. And it's like, it's a grave and it says your name here and like Kingpin, Hobgoblin and Carnage just hanging out at your grave. That like, they would never print that nowadays because now they want they've diluted it to the point where I blame Sony myself. Like they want everyone to think that it could be them, even though like I'm not being funny, mate. Even if I had the superpowers, I'd end up dead. I would.
Yeah, but besides my like dreaming at night, there's no way in hell I'm
gonna. I've not got the brain power to like realize what frequency the shocker's operating on, so it can counter it. You know what I mean? I can't do the maths in my head to pendulum swing right into Vulture and land on him. I'd go splat.
Well, even the sense of responsibility would be like, nah, I can't be bothered for today.
Literally, yeah. You're like, what time is it? Oh, no.
Yeah, nah.
Let him rub it. Right on the rampage, and I'm like, yeah, bro.
Even I'm just like, I'm looking through Edge of Spider-Verse Volume 2. First appearance of Spider-Lad, a Scottish Spider-Man.
What?
First appearance of
Is it just
Spider-Wreck.
Spider-Man in a kilt? Is that
It's
boring
like
as
that
hell, mate?
Deadpool with the Welsh flag.
Yeah.
I found out that day, like, I remember that it's because he owns, like, Wrexham, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
I
was like,
googled it and I was like, oh, of course, yeah, him and Rob McElderry from
it's
Always
funny
Sunny.
still. It's funny just
Yeah.
seeing him, like, a Welsh
That's
Deadpool.
the only difference is he's wearing a Welsh top. That's the only difference in Deadpool. He's not got an accent on that.
Even first appearance of Night Spider, a thief. First appearance of Spintress, a spider princess.
Ooh.
First appearance of Bishop Octopus and Queen Mysteria.
Queen, what?
Oh, we can't forget Webweaver.
Oh, never mind. No, is that the
What about
wheelchair one or the gay one?
So that's the gay one. What about the one that's paralyzed?
Yeah. So like,
Shoots webs out of her.
that's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
It's so stupid.
Wouldn't the super strength either let her use her legs or just not it?
Also, what a
I
shit. Like,
refuse to read modern stuff for this reason.
could you imagine like not figuring that out? Like, how stupid would you be not to put one and one together?
Yeah. Sun
like,
Spider,
oh.
is that the wheelchair one?
I refuse to know.
You'd know straight away because does she swap wheelchairs? Because people I know in wheelchairs, they are different. Like they're unique. Not everyone's got the exact same model and brand of wheelchair. So like,
how does she even how did she make the web cartridges to fit into the into the thing to shoot out properly? There's so many questions.
There is. But they don't care. They just want to throw up to make people buy it, don't they?
Edge of Spider-Verse issue 2, volume 3, first appearance of Aunt May Carnage.
What?
What's like Daredevil looking like through the multiverse? Does he even have variants?
We've got Ultimate, who was a prick.
Oh yeah, that counts. We got a beef with a 16-year-old.
He was just an ass.
He almost killed Vanessa.
Didn't he held his blooming. He was gonna snap her neck, weren't he?
Yeah, Kingpin was like freaking out.
We had one's a samurai because it was like Batman Ninja but with Daredevil.
Does the movie one count at this point?
I'd count him, me. Does he kills, doesn't he? Daredevil normally doesn't kill, but the movie one chucks a dude onto the train tracks and it doesn't save him.
Did you see that line at the tunnel? It's like that's not heaven. I was like, that's the sea line, and he just gets fucking ran over.
He just leaves him, yeah. That might be it. For Daredevil, he doesn't get much play, does he?
It was like cool, but not really Daredevil.
Yeah.
Wait. At the end of the tunnel, guess what? That's not heaven. That's the sea line.
Leaves him to die. Didn't he need him for a case as well?
What about like the fact that Colin Farrell's Bullseye was just, he's like, I want a costume, and then never got a costume.
Yeah.
What was with that?
Just got a tattoo. No, he had that to start with, didn't he? Like his scar.
Yeah, he didn't actually change his outfit. I was like expecting some sort of like a leather Bullseye outfit, but he just had that rattlesnake thing.
They were embarrassed, weren't they? Like the X-Men didn't wear yellow.
They're all in black. Yeah, black.
Sandman didn't wear his bulky Frightful 4 suit for Spider-Man 3.
I love even the build-up in Spider-Man 3 to him finding his shirt.
Yeah, like it's a big iconic. It's just a shirt.
They pause on it. They pause on the scene just so you can see, oh shit, he's got the shirt.
Oh, that's the Sandman. Now I see. Like at the end, they have that dramatic Peter like opening the suitcase and seeing his original suit. That's boss. But at the start, it's just a shirt.
I can't wait for like the MCU to over-design his Sandman shirt. They're gonna add like
It's got like honeycomb patterns.
panel lines on the t-shirt. It's still just a normal shirt.
Yeah.
And instead, it's like, instead of green and dark green, it's like a muted gray
Yeah.
because it's serious.
He doesn't
even
even
though
wear the
scared-
green, but his license plate says ASM5, first appearance of Sand.
I thought it was so stupid as well that in the Daredevil film they were too scared to like make him look like Daredevil because they thought he'd look too much like Spider-Man. I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, no, what are they playing at? Looks nothing like him.
One-
He's got his jaw
one's
out.
got- Yeah, one's got horns on his head.
No
one's got
silver, like Spidey's webs.
No blue.
Nothing like him. The silhouette is different.
We're lucky that we got what we got because some of the concept art was horrific.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up.
If you've got like, I saw it on like the DVD's like special effects, like part of the thing,
Yeah.
or the special, whatever it's called, and horrid. It was horrible. They had some good ones where like, okay, that could work. There was some for the yellow suit, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh.
But there was also at the same time like ones where you're like, that's not Daredevil. Like I'm pretty sure they're gonna have him wear a hoodie in one of them.
CW's Daredevil.
Daredevil concept. When did that film come out? Was it 2003?
I think it was after
They had
Spider-Man
a
1.
cool
Definitely.
they had a cool armor blend, like one that sort of looks like the black armor but red.
Yeah.
On the DVD you can find some proper horrific stuff.
Check that out.
It's a
Put it
shame
up
though,
at this point.
because wasn't the guy behind that film like a huge Daredevil fan? Like he actually loved the character to bits.
It is very much like it follows the comic close, doesn't it? Like with Electra's
Yeah, like
dad and that.
I think if it is true that he was a massive fan and he wanted to do everything he could, I think his problem was he tried to do all the iconic storylines in one.
Yeah.
Like he
No
did
trilogy.
like Man Without Fear with the Electra sort of love story because they met in that movie then for some reason. So they did like that sort of aspect of Man Without Fear. They did Born Again. But did they do Born Again? No, they did Last Rites and they did the original Frank Miller stuff. The Death of Electra, Bullseye Saga. It's like, mate, pick one.
Slow down.
Pick one. You could have just done like maybe just the start of the Frank Miller stuff if you're gonna set the film in an already established world.
Yeah, because like it is an origin story halfway through, innit? But when it opens, he is Daredevil.
Yeah. And then the "Wake Me Up Inside" and then that fucking
tune.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I sat there so shocked. It was like insane to watch. It just felt so 2000s to me.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're trying to make it this serious moment in the film of like Electra getting ready.
She's not even doing anything like particularly impressive. She's just stabbing sandbags.
They're motionless. If she missed, it'd be more of an effort to miss than to actually hit it.
That would have been pretty funny if the whole song montage was just there missing.
What about like all the Easter eggs to writers? Like, was it Joe? I can never pronounce his name. Was it Quasade?
Yeah.
And he was like
he's the one who did One More Day as well. But yeah,
he was the artist for like Daredevil as well.
Yeah.
I think he might have been a rapist. I think in the movie.
Christ, imagine that.
And I think John Romita might have been a boxer. I think he might have been the boxer fighting Jack.
Jack Batlett.
I'm pretty sure. Like they actually referenced a lot of creators. Daredevil.
I know Stan Lee's in it for a second, didn't he? As usual.
What was his Easter egg? What was his cameo?
He was the owl.
He was the owl?
No, that would have been funny.
Could you imagine if he swings through like, "Hello, true believer"?
Stanley is... Oh, that's in the Netflix show, jog on. I'm after the Kino movie. He's got, like, in the police station, there's a photograph of him in the Netflix show.
That dirty hound dog. I'm trying to... Because I'm pretty sure, like, one of them was a bad man, and the other one was a boxer, and then I couldn't remember if there was any other Easter eggs to writers or such. Wally Wood's timber yard. Could you imagine that sort of thing? Gene the Dean Colin Tudor School.
Right, Stanley Daredevil movie cameo. Let's see, once and for all. He must have been in it.
Was he always... Did he do cameos at the start of the stuff? He was in Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, he was in X-Men. When Senator Kelly washes up on the beach, he's like, "I'm no hot dogs." Oh, I know what he is. Blind kid Matt stops him from walking across the road while he's reading the newspaper. Yeah.
I bet if someone's like watching this by now, just probably thought, "You idiot!" Like you're just shouting at the screen.
It's his best cameo.
It's pretty good, actually.
It's one of his better ones. And then randomly going, "Hey, you sit back down on the bus."
I love the. I guess one person can make a difference.
Oh, it's the best one.
Enough said.
Enough said.
He said it. He said the bloody line.
He said the line in the movie.
What about when Iron Man calls him Hugh Hefner?
Yeah.
Isn't it also like canon somewhere that Stan Lee's the Hulk now?
Yeah, in Incredible Hulk, he swigs like the gamma blood, doesn't he?
Could you imagine that? Like in the Lego game, you can transform Stan Lee into the Hulk.
That'd be sick. I'm not sure my laptop will be able to handle a 3-hour thing, so this might go up in parts, but that'll have to.
Oh, you could do that, yeah. Like highlights, that'd be probably better. I mean, we could probably, I think for a start of a rebellion. No.
Yeah. We haven't picked a name.
Oh no, we gotta pick a name.
I'll put that in post.
Yeah. But I think that's a good ending point. I think we've covered a lot about Hornhead, the man with the double D's.
It there. How do you stop? Oh, there it is. Stop recording. Okay. Away we go.